That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff. But
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
Yeah,
you want one quick question?
we can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.
What up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rashad Milligan. This is the Road to 5K subs. You see the title, man. We here to have a real discussion. Today was an extremely tough day for me. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. When I woke up to the news that Kyren Lacy has reportedly is suspected to have taken his own life, and so with that being said, a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts went into my head today. I just thought to invite a bunch of my friends who were former athletes who have pivoted to other career roles and things of that sort to discuss the pressure that young Black boys and Americans have on them to become great, successful, whatever the case in athletics. So with that being said, the first guest that we have on in the building today, my boy, play-by-play announcer, commentator, former sports broadcaster of the year in the state of Alabama, my guy, Jared Oliver. Jared, how you doing? Hey!
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This is my second time on the podcast.
No. The last time you were on the other show, an old show I was on called
okay. So
that was on the Atlanta Sports Unlimited. Shout out Atlanta Sports Unlimited, Terrence Moore, his network.
Right. So this is my second debut with you.
Yeah. This is the second time we've done this like on the internet, period. But yeah, man, just first of all, how you feeling? How's everything going? You know, just like they say on I Am Athlete, mental health check-in.
Yeah, man, in Orlando, still working through some things for my next stop. But I've been in Orlando for about almost 4 years. Used to work for the ABC affiliate here as a sports anchor. I've been doing a lot of play-by-play as of recent as well. So things are good. Things are moving. I'm looking forward to whatever's next. And, we'll take it as things come and as they unfold for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. And before we get into the Kyren Lacy of like putting your entire identity into sports, I want to ask you, because you in your professional career, you had kind of like a gap between Bama and Orlando, and now Orlando and the next, I guess, broadcasting opportunity full time because you are, like you say, you are working play by play. I want to ask you, just how have you kind of worked through not placing your identity in your job, your title, your profession?
Yeah, it's been tough. I'll be honest. And I've had to multiple times kind of consider and reinvent myself a little bit about, where I want my life to go, where I want my career to go. And some of the things that I've had to learn about myself and, the dynamics of the business and sports media, and just what I want out of it, what I want for myself and the things that I thought I wanted. As you get older, those things change over time. Do I still aspire to be a big sportscaster? Yeah, sure. But I mean, I think there are other things that are important. And I think, I've gotten to a point where I'm making sure I'm doing it for the right reasons and not just to be like, oh yeah, I'm famous, I'm recognizable, I'm rich. I've had to kind of like pivot multiple times. After my Birmingham job, I had to pivot. I worked in sales. Here in Orlando, there was a massive layoff, so I had to pivot again. And I've been able to do a lot of play-by-play, which has been great. I mean, because it's always something I've wanted to do. And I wish they would have had it in school for us to practice and get some reps doing some stuff, but we didn't have that. We didn't have that opportunity. So for whatever reason, I've been able to get that opportunity now. And I've had more positive feedback than bad. So, and it kind of gets me out of my comfort zone. It puts you on a platform where, there is no script for the most part. I mean, it's all just off the top of the head. You're reacting to what you see. You're also trying to tell a story, during a 2-3 hour football game, or baseball or basketball or whatever the case may be. So it's been good. It's good mental reps. It's good practice, just being on live television. And it's kind of like the same as being a sports anchor or a sports host, but just completely different at the same time. I think you're orchestrating and you're painting a narrative, and as the game unfolds, you're revealing and giving more information to the audience. All the all the famous Syracuse grads or sportscasters always say, consider the viewer. And so that's something that I've always tried to remember as I've gotten further along in my career. But back to your original point, yeah, you got to learn how to pivot. And you get to a point where you love something so much, and sometimes it can be a handicap to your development. I mean, that can be applied to any job or whatever you love so much, whatever you're so passionate about. Life happens sometimes, and you get wrapped up in the identity or losing your identity in something that you feel like you have to be. And sometimes life throws curveballs. So I've had to work in sales. I've working at Full Sail University. So yeah, just different things, and you got to learn how to pivot and take things as they come. But I think it's important to realize that you wear your challenges as badges of honor, in a sense. Like, be proud of what you've been able to overcome. Be proud of what you're going through, and appreciate that, and use that as fulfillment whenever you kind of come out of whatever you're working through.
Yeah, no, 100%. Great answer there, and great advice to the young people, everything like that watching right now. Shout out to David. Five Wars Deke is in the chat. He just said "yer" and things of that sort. "Yer," right back at you, David. He just celebrated his wedding anniversary. Congratulations to David and his wife as well down there in Tampa, Florida. But man, just going back, sticking along those lines of like you said, you once wanted to be the biggest sportscaster, the richest sportscaster, and the whole nine. You wanted the whole thing. At what point was it just a specific moment in your life, in your career, where you were like, you know what, it's not even that deep? Like, what was that moment like for you, if you did ever had that moment?
Yeah, I think for me, the goal is still to be a successful one, but like, I think the definition of success is different for me. I think at this point, it's just about fulfillment, and me doing it in a way that I have peace, because it's a tough industry. It's very high demand. It's deadline oriented, like literally. A lot of jobs nowadays have, are you good to able work under pressure? Can you work under tight deadlines? No, like, working in sportscasting is deadline. It is a deadline every day. And sometimes your deadlines are live. So yeah, I think for me at this point, it's just all about fulfillment, making sure I'm doing it for the right reasons, and just enjoying whatever comes next, and even now, enjoying the process of me being able to do play-by-play. Like, it's something I've never done before until last summer, and it's been a learning process. I've had, thankfully, more good moments than bad. And it's been cool to kind of exercise a new strength, per se. And I've been able to network and meet other people who do it at a very, very high level. And so yeah, it's been good. But I think for me at this point, it's all about doing something I love, but for the right reasons, and making sure my vision and my mission aligns with what I'm supposed to be doing.
No, 100%. And shout out to Nathan there, who also just tapped in. He just said, we tapped in. Shout out to Nathan, the twin. Huh? Ball boys in the building, huh? Stand up, huh? All right. Hold on. Let me like it. All right, bet. But yeah, man, for me, I know, because I had the same aspirations. I think that's why we clicked so much in college, along with David, along with Nathan, along with Caleb, Joey, the whole primetime crew and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's because we all
legendary
had
class, by the way. Well, not even class, but legendary crew.
Yeah, legendary era. This man David just said Nathan
Nadir.
but yeah, man, we all kind of bonded on the fact that we wanted to be great, and we wanted to do great things within the sports media space. And I think the moment for me where I was kind of like, I was cool off of just being ESPN, was starting to develop relationships with people at ESPN, starting to develop relationships with people on national networks, people with the fame, people with the, what you would kind of like assume money and things of that sort. And you
Yeah.
talk to them on a regular basis, like you talk to the rest of your friends in the industry, they're complaining just as much as the kid, in Nebraska
Yeah.
about their job. Like they're complaining about their jobs too. And I think first starting off in the business, you like, man, I can't wait to get to ESPN so I don't have to deal with this. It might not be I got to come out, set up the tripod, and do all the thing by myself. That might not be your complaint at ESPN. Your complaint at ESPN might be they're on my back
Yeah.
for mispronouncing Entente de Compo, and I'm like, man,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's always going to be something, and I
Yeah.
didn't know that until I had friends at ESPN, until I had friends at Fox Sports One, until I had friends on that level of like where I wanted to go, previously and stuff like that. So I think that's what taught me like the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Or it's just like what's your perception of green? You know what I mean? Like I heard a message maybe 2 weeks ago saying that you want to find, work is always going to be hard sometimes, at times, but you want to be able to do something that not only gives you purpose, but you find rest in your purpose. Like you can work hard, but find rest in what you're doing to some degree. So and I think that's another level of just being fulfilled in whatever you're doing at whatever level, and doing it to the best of your ability.
100%, 100%. I was sending out the live to a couple different people and everything like that to let them know, because they'll definitely probably watch the replay, but I wanted to let them know when we were live. I want to say this, man, just kind of going to you now and your personal story growing up. At what point were you introduced to sports? When did you start first playing sports?
Yeah, I think my very first sport that I ever played was soccer, actually. My mom wanted me to have good footwork. So I started playing soccer at, I don't know, 5. And my position was goalie. And so I was terrible at it. I was so bad at it. I used to jump over the ball and the ball would go into the net. Like, I don't know. I just enjoyed jumping over the ball instead of trying to like deflect or knock it down. So that was my first sport. And then I think around 7 or 8, I didn't really care for soccer. I really loved football. My cousin played football in the local neighborhood that we were in, and it was like a big team at the time. We were also the Bulldogs, by the way. So yeah, my fandom for Georgia has always been in me. So, but yeah, I started playing football, organized football, maybe around, I don't know, maybe like 10. And that's when it just kind of started for me. Like everybody in my neighborhood, everyone at my school either play for either 3 different teams in the area. Same thing as basketball, played basketball all my life as well, or at least growing up, played basketball. And then when I got into the later years of me being in high school, I started running track. So I ended up being a 3-sport athlete. So yeah, I mean, sports was at the time, that was all I wanted to do. Like every teenager, who cares about sports in the world? It became my identity. I didn't really like start thinking about what my life would look like outside of sports, or at least like having a normal job, probably until, I don't know, early senior year. Because once you get to senior year, you kind of have an idea of where you might need to go, what you may need to do to get in school, what kind of grades you have, what kind of test scores you have. Yeah, I mean, I think reality started to sit in with me. Like, all right, well, I took a couple of visits. Some of the schools I didn't like, the schools that were big, they weren't giving full ride scholarships. So I was like, well, I at least want to go to school and enjoy college. So maybe this is the end of the road. So yeah, that's kind of how it started for me. And then got to high school, and I always felt like, all right, well, I've always been a decent writer. English was the only advanced class I ever took in high school, and I had the same teacher all 4 years, which is crazy. And so I was like, all right, well, decent writer, love sports. Let me try sports writing. So I went to college, majored in journalism.
And at what point playing sports, 3 sports, did you know I'm good at sports?
it's weird because I feel like I was good at, like, there was a phase of my life where I was really good at football, and then I really got good at basketball, and then I really realized maybe the potential I had in football. And so, I mean, it was really football and basketball for me. And then I just ran track because I just thought it was a beautiful sport. And I fell in love with it once I started doing it. But for me, football was always my first love, definitely. And I think I started to separate myself a little bit around my junior year, but never good enough to go to like full ride Georgia or,
Right, but still at the same time, you're still like a starting quarterback for a high school team. Like that's a big accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? I know like it kind of behind the scenes or whatever throughout the years, like we always give like Jared a tough time for like because you can get him talking about his high school days, boy. Yeah, I'm quarterback. Kentucky was, I had my visit at Kentucky. I didn't my knee.
In my brain, I'm a quarterback to this day. I still read defenses pretty well on Madden. So,
100%. So, like, even like going alongside that, you've been playing football since you were 10, and then you dipped into, started off as soccer, dipped into basketball and things of that sort. Got really good at basketball for a little while, but football was always number one. To this day, just watching the games, your passion of watching UGA and the Falcons and things of that sort, is still there. Like, your fire and your love for the game is never departed you. And I think that's the same case for majority sports journalists. Like we still have that childlike excitement for the sports and the games that we grew up loving. I wanted to ask you, man, just like, I guess, because I remember you did a thing with Primetime. That's the main reason why I reached out to you first. And Primetime was our college sports show at Georgia State. You did a feature with Jamal, right? And you were talking about my entire life, I was playing sports, and I didn't know what was next because the only thing that I've ever been good at was sports. Yeah. I want to ask you, man, like you say, early senior year, going into your freshman year of college, just what is your mindset of like, I got to give up being an athlete? Like, it's no longer Jared Oliver from the football team. It's just Jared Oliver, the student.
Yeah. I think, once I graduated college, during that summer before, freshman year, I was still working out, and I was like considering doing the whole walk-on thing. Like I was considering trying to walk on at Georgia, but then I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I just want to go to school, enjoy college, and figure out what else I can do. And if that has something to do with sports, then that'll be great. So my freshman year in college, I started my own blog, sports blog, and I would just write articles about stuff that I thought was interesting. And that was just practice. And so I would do that. And then once I got to Georgia State, I joined the student newspaper, The Signal. That was my first opportunity on really trying to figure out if I wanted to do this for a career and if I was good enough to do it. And through trial and error, going to games, getting credentials, getting in free. We went to the Cure Bowl. I think it was the first ever Cure Bowl during the time I was at Georgia State in Orlando, which is crazy because I live here now. I just thought about that. It was, I think, and then, me interning, I had a chance to intern at CNN Sports during the 2016 Olympics, which was the most incredible experience probably as, aspiring broadcaster can have, because I got to do a lot of hands-on work. I did some camera stuff. They put me on live television. I got to help out with shows they were working on to build brand new shows. And you get to see like the best people in the world do their jobs. Like CNN Sports was great. And then, you can see like other departments, CNN International and all the other stuff as well. So, what was your original question?
It was like, what was your mind state when you were no longer Jared Oliver from the football team or Jared Oliver the
Oh,
basketball
yeah.
players and all.
Probably just an identity crisis, like a lot of athletes have.
What does that look like? What does identity crisis look like?
What am I good at? What can I do? Um, will people think more or less of me? Where do I fit in the world and society? How do I contribute? Um, and what's going to fulfill me? Like, because you got to think, like, if you're an athlete, if you've been an athlete all your life, and people have told you you're good, you're great, and this is all you think you can do because you invest so much time into it, and then all of a sudden you get to a point where it's like, all right, window closed, can't do this anymore. That's hard for people to understand and accept. So, and a lot of times athletes don't know how to pivot. They don't. We see it all the time. They don't know what to do. They want to become a rapper. They want to do something else that, I mean, yeah, sure, you can become a rapper if you're good at it, but it's hard. It's just hard to pivot. And I think a lot of times everyone doesn't have the support around them to learn or figure out how to pivot to. So I think that's a big piece.
So you're pointing to support because it's like for you growing up, you always had someone in the stands cheering for you. You had support around the community. I know, like on Thornton Road, I don't know if it's still the case to this day in 2025, but a few years ago in Thornton Road on that Applebee's, you still on that wall with the football, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the community was behind you, community was supporting Lithia Springs quarterback, everything like that.
Yeah.
And so like to go from that to like no longer having just outright people cheering for you in the stands, it's gotta feel weird. Like that's a weird, hard adjustment to make over time.
Yeah, it is. And it's hard. It's even harder when you're a kid, basically. Like imagine telling like a 16, 17-year-old, what you love, you can no longer do. Or I'm not telling you that, but that is what people are choosing for you. And so, I mean, whether it's going from high school to college or college to, the working force, imagine like people deciding for you, you can't do what you want to do anymore. And so that creates resentment, anger, frustration, not thinking clearly, not processing, or thinking, all right, what else can I contribute, or what other purposes can I give to the world? So yeah, that can be tough. And shout out to you for bringing up the fact that my face is still on that Applebee's wall.
For sure. It's legendary. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had to give an example of the type of support you were receiving in the community growing up and stuff like that for being the starting quarterback and everything. So and then even going deeper into what we were talking about, that's crazy, Paul. But like in the Black community, bro, like growing up as a Black kid, like in sports, is there like some type of expectation or like, and within the community, we uplift athletes a little bit more. It's like kind of a little more heightened. Like if you look at Lamar Jackson, I think is a perfect example. We look at Lamar Jackson as like the hero. When we were kids, we looked at Michael Vick like he was Superman, literally. LeBron James, Superman, literally. Like so, just like what was that dynamic like of being a Black kid that was excelling locally in athletics?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, where I grew up. And and this is no shade to my high school, but we just didn't have the and I'll take some responsibility for it too. We thought that sports was the only way, and I think that's for a lot of communities. I also internalized that it's either sports or I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out as I go. So you get wrapped up in that kind of group thinking. And you try to say, all right, well, my friend just got a scholarship offer from somewhere, and mine's coming at some point too. Or we're all going to go to D1 schools or whatever the case may be. And, you kind of live in this fantasy world because, in high school, like you're still at home with your parents or whoever you live with. And, you don't have any real responsibilities. At least a lot of kids don't have real responsibilities. You work, some random job for resume experience, and it's like you're thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to school, play D1 ball, and you start to really, really take this whole like mindset of like, I got to do whatever I can to keep my dream alive of playing sports. And yeah, it's a harsh reality. And I think for me, and like I think about when I used to live in DC, and I remember when I moved up there, the public education system up there is ridiculous, and I mean that in a good way. Like all the public schools were, some of the best public schools, best test scores in the country. Where I live, very affluent area, one of the most affluent areas in the country. I remember one of my first stories when I got up there was to go to, what was the name of the school? I think it was Oak High School or whatever the case may be. And so my story was to, talk to this baseball player he was a great baseball player, and he was also a great painter. And he painted like this beautiful mural over the dugout. I mean, not the dugout, but behind home plate, where they like keep scores or whatever. And I learned throughout that interview that not only was he a great painter, a great pitcher, but he also had like a 4.3 GPA, had a full ride scholarship to Duke University. And I'm thinking to myself, like, when I grew up, I didn't know anybody like this. Like, and there was an expectation, and they also had the sources and the support to have the ability to like actually believe that these things are achievable. And it's like, that was the culture up there. It's like, oh yeah, we get good grades up here. We can go to Northwestern or Northeastern. We can go to Duke and play football or basketball. And so what I realized when I was up there is just like, yeah, they love a sport, but I think they also have an idea, or they realize that they can do much, much more than just dribble a ball, throw a ball, tackle somebody, whether it's lacrosse or, cross country, whatever the case may be. So it's just like, realizing that there is more to life than athletics, but also using it as a platform to put on your resume and just I don't know, I guess just be exposed to more is what I'm trying to get to. Just be exposed and be willing to try. Like, I think about like when I was up there, they had like robotics and all this stuff. Like we didn't have, or chess club or whatever the case may be. Like we didn't have any of that. At least at my school, we didn't have that. And then I thought to myself, like, would I have even tried that? Yeah, I don't think I even would have, just because of like, like I said, group thinking. You know what I mean? Like it's either this or I'll figure it out. So I think it's a lot of different factors. And as a black kid growing up in, I mean, it wasn't the most affluent area, but just being exposed. I think being exposed as a kid just does a lot for you. You know what I mean?
100%. I think exposure is the biggest thing among anything in terms of like being a black kid or just a kid in general, in terms like the influence of what it means, what it could do for you, and all of these things. Because if you don't see it, how are you gonna believe it? You know what I'm saying? If the only thing that I see is like I said, Bron, Vic, T.I., Andre 3000, we grew up in a height of Outkast and everything like that. Like we growing up in the capital of hip hop, like BET Hip Hop Awards first year. I was in 6th grade. You were probably in 7th grade. Like that's just what it was, bro. It was either rap or go to the league. When I grew up, I played baseball, and I wanted to be in the MLB, and I wanted to be in the NBA. Like that's what I want to do, bro. Because it's just like I don't know. It's just what I knew and what was in front of my face the whole time. Wait, hold on, Jared. But before you continue, I want to introduce the next guest up here and stuff like that. He's been waiting. This is my boy from Marietta, everything like that, from Cobb County. Mob County. Man, he does a whole lot of stuff. He's a serial entrepreneur, real boss man in every sense of the word. Y'all give it up for my boy. Count up, DJ Bossy. DJ, can you hear me?
Man, what's up, man?
What's good, bro? Hey, turn your camera on, bro.
Yes, indeed. One second. Hold on. Here we go.
All right. Hold on.
Boom. There we
Hey,
go.
what's
There
good?
we
What's
go.
good, man? You
What's
know what I'm
up,
saying?
man?
What's up?
Welcome
What
back to
is
the channel.
going
Welcome
on,
back to the channel.
family?
DJ, meet Jared. Jared is he's down in Orlando working as a play-by-play announcer, and
Okay.
and yeah, he met him at Georgia State. So yeah.
What's up,
What's
man?
going
Nice to
on,
meet you.
Jared, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Blessed and highly favored. You?
Likewise, brother. Likewise. I cannot complain. I'm feeling the same, man. Been a long day working for me, just getting back from traveling, moving and grooving, but I'm feeling good.
No, 100%, 100%. It's good to hear, DJ. By the way, Malik is in the chat. He said, "What's up, family? What's up, Malik? How you doing, my brother?" But yeah, man, the main thing we were talking about, DJ, is really just I talked about Jared's kind of professional journey in
Yeah.
sports broadcasting, and then his childhood growing up into believing what he could do in sports, because he was a starting quarterback at Lithia Springs High School. He also played basketball, and he was on the track team. So,
Okay.
and he
There we
started
go.
off in soccer at the age of 5. So I asked him about making that pivot, because he said once he got to senior year and he kind of figured out by his offers that he was like, okay, I got to get another job, kind of going into it, trying to figure out his identity and that exact identity crisis that he went through. I know
Yes.
for you in our
Yes.
past interviews, I asked you, like, what would you tell your younger self? And you said, shoot the ball less in AAU.
What? Yeah.
He said shoot the ball less at AAU so he could get more offers, because on the circuit they kind of look mainly at
That's
the
it.
points per game.
That's
So
it.
That is the
obviously,
most AAU thing I've heard.
yeah, yeah. But obviously, as a former point guard, but man, like, as a successful serial entrepreneur, working your business as a trainer, personal trainer, all the way up to
Yep.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium, on the
Yep.
Falcons field, in the end zone, and the backyard with Home Depot and everything like that on Wednesday nights. I just
Yep.
want to ask you, man, uh, what was that first moment that you did have an identity crisis, that you were no longer going to be DJ Bostic, the athlete?
That's a great question. That's a great question, and a very hard thing for athletes to pivot from. So even asking me myself, when was that my time? I knew soon as I had to transfer from North Carolina, from Brevard College, and move forward to Clayton State. And moving there, I knew then that there was more to me in what I could offer to the world and how I could do it and all that good stuff. And I was like, you know what? I I know I'm talented, but I have no idea how that avenue is gonna look. I don't know how I can pursue any of them. And there was a lot of anxiety that came with it, and which decision and route that was going to be. And so that's when it kind of hit me early in I would say my late 20s here, or mid 20s, college years at Clayton State. And then it kind of clicked one day. I was just doing a bunch of, when you try so many things but you're not doing the one thing that you know you could do. And so, for instance, I'm modeling, I'm doing things on TV, I'm doing stand-in work, I'm personal training, I'm doing it all, right, trying to get into this entrepreneur journey. And as that happened, I became overwhelmed so quick. And one day someone just kind of reached out to me, was like, man, come to my gym, allow me to kind of mentor you into this thing, into this space. And we were actually on set on a VH1 set doing some TV work. And so that's how it all kind of came to play. And I was like, well, hey, it made a space for me, and all my anxiety was able to be relieved right there, man. So it kind of fell into place, and I just ran with it from there.
So
And now it's able to be made into a business, and become something that sustains and all that good stuff that came later on, for sure. But
no,
it definitely hit me.
100%, 100%. And shout out to David once again. He said, "Shout out to the tornado." I don't know. Is that Clayton State?
Yeah, dang, no, that's
There it
crazy. Brevard. He
is.
knows about that's wild. I went to school in North Carolina, and we were called the Brevard. That's wild, Brevard tornadoes. But yeah,
Oh,
that
North
was
Carolina.
wild.
That's a crazy pull, David. Go ahead, Jared. What you want to say?
No, I was going to ask, were they the tornadoes? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we were terrible, man. We were okay. So imagine this: we played 30 games, not to shoot my team down, but we played 30 games a season. And I was there for 3 years, and out of so that's 90 games, right? We won 20 of those 90.
That's bad.
Gosh. How
20
how,
of
how
them.
was how was that forget life after being an athlete? How was like being an athlete losing 70 games out of 90?
Man, I was trying to find myself as a man. I was going through so many different things of different emotions, not wanting to show up in class work, but trying to think about the purpose of why I'm there. Being grateful for my scholarship because I've worked for a scholarship my entire life as an athlete, being grateful and reminding myself of why I'm there, but then in the same time, trying to just push through having a lot of playing time as a freshman and then having almost like no playing time and the end of that year and then having to get that spot back as a sophomore and junior, and it just was an up and down, and we were losing, so it got tough and it was draining, honestly. It drove me away from the love of the game because I just felt like it was nothing that I imagined college ball to be.
Yeah, no, that's real, and I appreciate that. I remember, I was in a high school class with Anthony Jennings. I think it was like physical. It wasn't physical science. It was one of the environmental science. I was in
Okay,
environmental
yeah,
science with
environmental. I
Anthony
remember
Jennings,
that. I took that too.
and I was a junior, and I'm the same class as Anthony, and by this point, he's already like, because he was starting since sophomore year at Marietta. So sophomore year it was bad. Junior year he came back, got in the weight room, everything like that. Came back a monster junior year. After junior year in the spring, he went to Elite Eight camp in Atlanta, and he ended up winning MVP. That changed his whole life. Like after that, Anthony blew up, became the biggest quarterback in Metro Atlanta. Moved up from like a 2-star to a 4-star, and was getting every single offer in the SEC and the ACC, all the big P4 schools. And I remember one of our teachers just asked one day, like, "What are y'all going to major in?" And this man jumped up and said, "Football."
That sound like an Anthony answer.
And that's like literally the reality. I feel like for a lot of young black boys who,
Is
you
what
know,
they see. That's
you
it.
you
Is
you
football,
spend
sports.
because you got to think about both of y'all, right? Like,
Yeah.
so y'all, Jared played 3 sports. DJ, you played basketball year round. You played the
Yep.
summer league, the spring league, the AAU,
Never
the
stopped.
school year round for your entire life, right? So it's like
Correct.
when you do that, when you dedicate so much time to this craft, to these crafts, and to this skill, like that's the only thing you can think about because it's like you know what you put your time to. So
Yeah.
it's like, man, I guess we can get to the question of the night. When you guys heard about Kyren Lacy and
Man.
essentially what happened with Kyren Lacy, I'll share the screen right here. Give me a second. I'll share the screen. Shout out to NOLA.com. Make sure y'all subscribe to NOLA News to support me right now. All right, for sure, for sure. Former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy died from a self-inflicted boom boom wound during a car chase, police say. This was written by Wilson Alexander. Shout out Wilson, y'all follow him. Former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy was found unalive Saturday night in Houston from an apparent self-inflicted boom boom after a car chase with the police, according to the Harris County Sheriff's Office. He was 24. Lacy was involved in a verbal argument with a family member, and he discharged the gun into the ground, according to the sheriff's office. When the constable's office responded to the scene approximately 11:15 p.m., they said they learned Lacy had driven away in his car. When law enforcement tried to stop him 20 minutes later, Lacy fled. He was involved in a car chase for several miles and crashed, the sheriff's office said. Upon trying to remove Lacy from the car and take Lacy into custody, deputies said they discovered that Lacy had hit himself. They pronounced him unalive at the scene by emergency personnel. According to the preliminary investigation by the Harris County Sheriff's Office, homicide detectives and crime scene units, Lacy hit himself during the pursuit and before his car crashed. Police said a review of the body camera and car dash mounted video did not indicate any shots were fired after the chase ended. So
Wow.
Lacy, he was facing, what I'm saying, a whole nother charge, a vehicular homicide, and and I believe it was Louisiana, and it was from kind of
Yeah.
just driver negligence and everything like that. And he was supposed to be a first round pick, but once the reports of that arrest came out, and he had that case coming up and stuff like that, he began dropping in the boards. He wasn't invited to the NFL Combine. The only pre-draft workouts that he had publicly was LSU's pro day. So you can only imagine just like what's going through dude's head of just like my entire life, I prepared and I was talented enough, even at a high level in SEC football. I was a star player for my SEC football program. I'm a shoe in to go to the league. Malik Neighbors is my boy. He shined in the league last year. Jaden Daniels is one of my best friends. He's like the face of the NFL after 1 year.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
thinking, I am going to be a millionaire and I'm going to get what I worked my entire life for. That's all been taken away because of the case that he was facing. So, in a moment where he was heated, arguing with his sister or family member, whoever it was, he shoots the gun, shoots it into the ground, and he drives off speeding. And he drives off speeding to the point where the police started chasing him. And at that point, he already thinking about the case he already got on him, and he just decides to end it all. So, fellas,
Yeah.
for y'all, when y'all hear this story about Kyren Lacy and his former athletes who have had to pivot beyond the sport that, once y'all were kids, y'all probably all thought that y'all was gonna go pro. Y'all thought y'all was gonna go to the NBA.
Yes.
Y'all thought y'all was gonna go to the NFL. I guess I just want to ask you guys, what was your reaction to the entire Kyren Lacy situation?
Wow. Um, if I could share, I don't want to intrude, Jared. I definitely had some thoughts earlier. And for me, it was so wild to see that I don't think this is it's a big story because it's who it is and the team and LSU and all of those things. And what's crazy is the stories like this have happened before, and to other players. And it brings much more awareness when it's a bigger school, and I'm glad that it's highlighted through other things. But it's so detrimental, of course, to the black community because black men see these things and think that, oh, this is all I am is an athlete, or oh man, if I don't um have that pivot point in my career, this is all I will be able to do. Oh my gosh, my career is going down in stock, or I'm not going to be a seeked out guy, or I don't know. I'm thinking more negative connotated thoughts versus positive things, and then athletes get into a world where they think that's all they are, and they feel weak sometime, and that's not the case. Especially like we were saying earlier, I heard when I was hopping in, just being a young black male. I know a young male is a thing, period, or a young kid, but being a young black male, we do understand comes with some extra weights and pressures, and whether it's put on us by our peers or whoever it is, that young man did not feel like he had a safe setting or a space where he could be mentally stable enough after what was going on with his case, his trial, or anything that was going to go on with him. He didn't feel like he was strong enough mental, and we always root for mental health, mental health, mental health for your black brother. But who knows if he was able to have someone in that space or in that corner for him. And not to get long-winded, my last thought on it was to just continue to send prayers up for people that don't think that they can survive or get through certain things, or think that when they're back against the wall that they don't know how to just turn to God and give it up to just be like, I surrender right now. And so I wanted to acknowledge all of those things because I don't know what his spiritual connection is. I don't know any of that, but I felt for him as an athlete and being a former athlete. Like I felt that at one point, man, am I gonna do something different? Can I do something different? And I fought so many times. What led me to get away from basketball was a car accident for myself, and that car accident actually brought me some enlightened moments, and I got a chance to turn it around and then start doing other things. And so I just pray that his family's with him, or thinking differently, and they're doing something in light of him to turn whatever that situation is into a positive, so we can shine some light on him. if they're choosing that route, let them know that they are more than dribbling a basketball, running a football, or throwing a baseball.
Well, first and foremost for me, thoughts and prayers out to his family and friends and loved ones and everyone that's been impacted. Um, when I first came across the story on social media, the first thing I thought about was he crumbled mentally from the inside out. That's the first thing I thought about. The weight of it. Imagine your entire life completely changing in a matter of 4 months, from December 17th to the car accident up until today. Imagine your entire life completely changing and you have zero control over it, right? Like, from, uh, you know, it got to a point where, because look, I mean, he was a top 10 receiver coming out of high school, went to UL Lafayette, freshman year, led the team in catches. 2 years later, goes to LSU, plays with Jaden Daniels, plays with Malik Neighbors. He becomes the lead, one of the bigger stars for LSU, and LSU is a pipeline to the NFL. Imagine you making one decision that completely changes your entire life. Granted, he should be held accountable for what he did, and yeah, there are consequences to that. But imagine you going from D1 potential first round prospect to you facing prison time, and you go through these mental spirals of, my future is now in the hands of other people. I may lose what I have done my entire life up until that point. And he probably, judging based on what his dad put out on social media about how, talk to your kids, don't let them just get by just saying, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm all right. It sounds like he didn't have, I don't want to speak for his family, but it didn't seem like he was in a space where he could open up and express emotions, because he was probably dealing with all of this internally. Um, and so, yeah, I just think he crumbled from the inside out. He couldn't handle the weight of the pressure, or the situation. Yeah, there it is right there. Young parents, start talking to your kids at a very early age. Don't let them go through, don't be cool with I'm all right or I'm good. Yeah, mental health is real. So it doesn't seem like that he was processing the situation the best way. But I mean, who are we to say how to do it? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
imagine your entire life changing in 4 months, going from on the field to facing significant jail time. And, with the incident, with his family and then him driving off, I just think it's a matter of just, he didn't know, he couldn't face or realize the gravity of the situation. And I think he just crumbled mentally. I mean, because prison is like one of the worst things you can experience, right? I mean,
It's
there's no,
supposed to be.
well, yeah, it's supposed to be. And so I think he just got to a point where it was, the gravity of the situation became layered and he didn't know how to handle it. And unfortunately, he took his own life.
Yeah, man. For me, you guys know I'm over here in Louisiana now, so I covered Kyren last season, and a lot of the stories that I did on Kyren was they kind of surrounded like his, I don't want to say antics, but a lot of the stuff around the game. It was like Kyron's the leader, the team leader in receptions and receiving yards and this and that. But what I'm writing about is Kyren Lacy done did this to an opponent. What I'm writing about is Kyren Lacy done lashed out at the coach before the game. What I'm writing about is Kyren Lacy done did a penalty. Then they done got a penalty to set LSU 15 yards back because he doing this. First gives he got a first down in the middle of the game, and so it was like yesterday I talked about Quay Davis and his entire situation because I've covered him previously too, and his troubles off the field, and I said okay, instead of, because I spoke to my family about it and everything before I went live, and my stepmom was like, okay, a way that you could really approach the topic, because it is important, what you say when you say it's out there, instead of just this boy messed up, this boy messed up, this boy messed up. How do we present it as, okay, this problem happened? What is the solution now? Obviously, Quay Davis had a history of allegedly having these allegations of domestic abuse. So, okay, you can't keep your hands off of women. I talked to your high school coach a few years ago. He said that you had a rough upbringing, this and that was going on, and to the point where you couldn't stay at home. That's why you're staying at your girlfriend's house in the first place when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. And so there's obviously some trauma, some things that you got to work through. And the fact that you're still doing it 4 or 5 years later with all these OGs in your ear telling you, young man, you can't do that. You got too much money on the line. You got NIL money on the line. There's obviously an issue there. And what we need to do as a Black community and everything, instead of just pointing the finger at Quay Davis, you so bad, you put hands on me, you do this, you do. What we need to do is, okay, what resources do you need? Do we need to get you in therapy? Who do you need to talk to? Who do you need to talk out your issues that you had as a kid and stuff like that? Because the road that Quay Davis is going, it's not good. You can put him in prison 2, 3, 5 years. He come out, he's still gonna have the same issues he had before. If nobody reaches him and he does the work to change as a person mentally of his way of thinking and the way that he handles his anger, frustrations, and his emotions. How do you express those emotions in a healthy way? Kyren Lacy, where I feel like I messed up, I'm not gonna lie, as a member of the media, is instead of, okay, there's obviously something wrong with this young kid, 24 years old, 23 years old. It's obviously something off because LSU win the game. He go on Instagram Live listening to young boy talking about, Papa, shoot you in your, oh, hold on, you a SEC, you a first round, what are you doing? What are you doing? Instead of me being like, Kyren Lacy, how dare you? How can I turn this into, Kyren Lacy, how can we help you? How can we be there for you? Kyren Lacy, what happened to you to even get you to this point where you're thinking this way? Because you're not a gangster. You're not hood. You're not this. You're not that. You're an SEC wide receiver, leading wide receiver. You're one of the faces of college football. You're going to be a first-round draft pick. You're going to follow in the footsteps of Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels, everything that we just said. So I ain't going to lie. I feel like a part of this is on me just as a media member because I feel like I contributed to that public narrative that Kyren Lacy was a crash out, a YN. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks that, it took this moment for me to realize that. But for the rest of my career, I want to be definitely just more responsible with how I present the images to the public of these young Black athletes.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's a fine line of, and good for you for doing that. But I also think sometimes there's a fine line of you being supportive of a player and a lot of times, going against the grain because then you get criticized for holding players accountable. So if you're in a passionate market like, Louisiana with LSU and all the sports there, like, when you go against the grain, sometimes you get criticized for trying to hold players accountable on and off the field or court. So, it's twofold with that situation. But I mean, and the thing is, you got to remember, like, yeah, we see all these things with Instagram Live now, getting on social media right after a game. They're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. They're kids, but at the same time, you would think they would understand the gravity or the platform that they have being at a Power 4 school with a certain platform. Everything they do is going to be written about, talked about, discussed, will make headlines. So I don't think everyone understands that. I don't think a lot of the kids understand that. And it's not their fault. They just know what they know. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they put them through media coaching so they understand that anything you say or do is going to affect your stock, or your credibility. But a lot of them, they don't, they're hanging out with their boys, they're playing football, they're playing basketball. So they don't always, consider the big picture. So it's like, how much can you blame them? How do you, a lot of times, like, we have these athletes that we talk about in college. We want them to grow up faster than what they can. You know what I mean? But that's also a responsibility that you kind of have to take on when you have such a platform where you play at a certain school. So, but everyone doesn't handle it the right way, and we see situations like this.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100% with you, man. Just the influence of what we see from hip hop to the athlete world, and the athletes want to be like the rappers or entertainers. It's like it goes vice versa. And when we kind of see them get this media personality, this media spotlight, we understand quickly that they haven't had a lot of media training in these areas like back in the day some other people had to do. And so they do need to be held accountable. The schools need to be held accountable. Everybody, whoever needs to get them properly prepared for that next level, I hold everybody accountable in doing that. But as far as decision making, you are a young man, and you know from right from wrong. And so you like you said earlier, there comes consequences comes with right things and wrong things. And so unfortunately, Kyren Lacy um chose a different route. And so but Quay Davis and anybody else, any other name, it doesn't matter who it is, we all have consequences that come with our actions. And so I think those are where the biggest thing about it all is just accountability on everybody's end. And how, like you said, we can, Rashad, is help. What resources can we put around you all to just help you become a better man? That's all we need to happen for Black athletes. Is not even just being a athlete, just how do we help you develop as a Black man and a well-rounded man, letting you know that you're enough in all areas and spaces.
100%. Yeah, oh, go ahead, Jared.
One last thing for me, I don't know what it is, but like the last few years, man, when it comes to athletes in these cars, man, I don't know what it is. Like we've seen it with Georgia, we continue to see it with them. We saw it with Henry Ruggs the third. You know, um, even with Kansas City as of recent. I don't. These cars, man, are ruining careers,
Yeah.
and for whatever I don't. They get these nice cars. It's like I don't know. I've always said this: if you have a nice car, drive slow so people can see you in it. What's the point of driving fast? Nobody can see you.
Shout
One
out Will
second,
Smith.
fellas. I got somebody at my door. I'm staying on the call. I'm just hitting my cam. I'm staying on the call. 1 second, fellas.
All
I'm
right,
Yeah,
cool,
sorry.
cool, cool,
it's
cool,
just
cool, cool.
like
You
these
good.
cars are killing people and killing careers and taking away freedom. You know,
No, that's 100%. The main thing
and
that,
it's
that
frustrating
oh,
and it's
go ahead, Jared. My bad, my bad. Let me
no,
let you finish.
I was just saying it's frustrating and it's disappointing to see. It's just
Yeah.
like these cars, man, it's killing lives and killing careers.
Like you say, on the same lines of like talking about the cars, I think about the term crash out, right? Like it's such a popularized term. It's like kind of mainstream lingo now of like he a crash out. Oh, I'm finna crash out. Oh, this is a crash out. Kyren Lacy was labeled as a crash out. And I don't know if how much you guys like look into like the power of like words and affirmation,
Yes.
but
Mm.
that's literally what he just did today. He crashed out. Like he
That's that.
went into an argument with his family member, shot at the ground, police chase, he's speeding, and then shoot himself while he driving into the car crash. Like that's a crash out. Some people call crash outs, oh, he yelled at so and so. That ain't a crash out. What Kyren Lacy did was crash out. And that's like one of the kind of eerie things that I'm looking at is like this was kind of like his personality, like or at least what he portrayed to the public. And it's so sad that it went this way at 24 because we see crazy. I hate to use the word crazy, but we see like off kind of people all the time, especially in sports, like Terrell Owens, Ocho Cinco. Like it's funny, Antonio Brown to a certain extent. We see it countless times, but you never see it carried out to like where they really go over the ledge, they really jump. So I don't know, that was just surprising to me. Go ahead, Jared.
No, that was all I had. It's just I wish there was. I hope for athletes in college and in the NFL, NBA, or just people in general. Just these cars, man, and this culture that we have in America with road rage and wanting to speed and race and prove to people whose engine is bigger and faster or whatever kit they have. And it's just like, man, these cars, man, are ruining lives. And it's sad to see because I remember seeing Kyren Lacy. I think it was 2023 when they played Florida State here in Orlando, and he wasn't a number one option at the time. But I remember seeing him play, and I'm just like, this guy's next up. I can tell. Yeah, it's just sad. That's all.
Any other words, DJ, about the situation, Kyren Lacy, or anything else you want to say?
No, there was nothing else added, man. I just just honestly, I'm sorry for the family of what they gotta go through and kind of, see and experience and hear, because as we also know, the weight of what those athletes experiencing and how many lives are changed through that one position being filled. And so I pray that they're all able to sustain and learn from this, and maybe, like I said, turn it into a positive out of the whole situation, because we hate to see another black male have to, go out this way, and any man. But just condolences, honestly, is all I have to the family. And that still, like I said, everybody's held accountable, that we know it can be anybody. He's not the only athlete, the top athlete that is going through any mental health thing, and that, if they need help, we need to assist them or ask our brothers, make sure our brothers are okay.
No, 100%. Thank you, DJ, for those words, everything like that. Yeah, Jared, same with you. Any last thoughts on this particular situation? I know you just spoke about the cars and as a larger issue with athletes and stuff like that. Anything else from you?
Yeah, I think Kyren just really just self imploded internally. It's good. Mental health is a real thing, and it's not something to joke about. And it's great that we continue to bring up awareness and encourage people to seek it out. But I think also spiritual growth is important as well, along with therapy. It's important for so many different reasons, to understand yourself, to be a little more grounded, to seek peace and seek fulfillment. And I think just, to live a prideless, egoless, more humble life. And I think sometimes, when you play a sport like football, it's just very barbaric. You have to be physical. You have to almost play angry. You build up this mentality or identity of like, I got to be the biggest, baddest dude on the field, and I got to earn my respect, which you do. But also, I think when you play sports, and especially in college, there's a level of invincibility that you kind of create. And so, like, I think that turns into making bad choices, and then you have to see the day and be accountable for your choices, and there are consequences with that. I think I would encourage, mental health checks, therapy, spiritual growth as well. Yeah.
Jerry, you bring up a great point there. Yeah, what was you saying?
My last point was just saying slow down.
Oh yeah, 100%. But you brought up a great point there, and like how, like, I think a lot of this kind of starts with enabling at a young age, right?
Yeah.
Like, as an athlete, as a star athlete, you get away with a lot. It starts with like grades. Yep. It starts with like you can cheat. You can cheat because you so and so for the team, and we want to make sure that you have the GPA to even get into the school that you want to go to, that you got the offer from, and everything like that. We want to make sure you're even NCAA eligible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it starts there, like very young. So you like, I could get away with that. You get into something like where a normal student would do it, he gets suspended for a week. You do it, you get a talking to. It start with you speed, the cop pull you over. Oh, you the point guard, and you get a warning. Slow down next time. It starts then in high school. it starts in middle school. It starts in elementary when you get that special treatment, because the way that just social structure works, we put athletes, you know what I'm saying, at the top of the food chain. And it's like, once again, going back to the beginning of our conversation, Jared, if you black and you growing up and you seeing what athletes get and how they get treated, don't you want to be the man? I know I want to be the man. I don't know about you. You know what I'm saying? Like at 8 years old, bro, you want to be the man, bro. At 10 years old, you want to be the man. You're not emotionally mature enough to know like it's more avenues I can be the man in. It's like, who's the man in the movies, in the Disney movies?
Yeah.
Starting quarterback, the star basketball player. Even High School Musical, the man, the basketball. And that's a whole thing about singing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
literally.
it just is what it is, bro, man. But wrapping up now, guys. Hold on. I'm gonna put you guys socials, everything like that on the screen. Yeah, what y'all have, man? What y'all want to plug, everything like that, what y'all got going.
That's a nice photo.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So for me, you can follow my whole count up page is also linked to our From Your Experience podcast page, where we're now diving in some things. Just did a scholarship and giving away those things. That's what was recently posted there on that page. But have a podcast page called From Your Experience. I would love anybody to subscribe, tap in. That link there is in the bio. Me and my guy Kev. And we talk about all things, man, of life's fun, faith, fitness, all of life's F's, finance, all of it. And so we just talk about various things there, cover various topics. We'll be soon inviting guests and expanding, doing some new things, and I love that space. I also, of course, I'm a personal trainer, fitness coach, all that good stuff, and I have pages. And so on the second one, that's built by Bosick, and you can follow me there. And that's where all that fitness stuff, where you can see the fitness on the field, the Home Depot backyard partnerships, all those good things. Where we'll be back out there this summer doing free classes for the for the city of Atlanta, where we utilize bricks as dumbbells. And so if anybody knows about the class, come on out, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we're gonna have some fun, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on. Let me go to
Yep.
Jared.
Well, I just gave you a follow, man. That's really good. My page
Yeah,
doesn't.
likewise, and I'll follow you back, brother.
Yes, sir. My page doesn't have all that cool stuff. I'm not really running a business through my Instagram. Maybe one day, but feel free to follow. I share a lot of the content that I do, play-by-play, sports anchoring, or whatever the case may be. And it's just a place to really just network and kind of just share, my personal life.
Fellas, we appreciate the time so much. Thank y'all for stopping by. Thanks for showing love. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Once again, hold on. Let me pull up the page. Y'all on YouTube right now. So I didn't see it. How you ain't gonna see it? You on the website right now. Look up From Our Experience Right Now podcast. Subscribe. It's a good pod. I listened to the first couple of episodes when they first came out. And like DJ said, like it's just higher level conversations. I love the topics. I love his co-host. I believe he's in photography and stuff like that. And
Yep.
you guys just have good conversations. So yeah, make sure y'all show some love over there. And it's black men having productive, you know what I'm saying, thing. They not talking about 50-50 dates. And, if is your mama or your girl gonna sit in the front seat, like it's something that's a little more elegant. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all boys. Any last words before y'all get out of here?
No, man, all love, all peace, and I'm always grateful to talk to my brother Rashad. And man, always a pleasure when I get a chance to meet somebody new, man. So pleasure. And I was just in Orlando last week. I wish I would have met you a time before, so it's all right. But I'm meeting you now, so man, next time I'm out there, I'll reach back and I'll tap in, and we'll follow up with each other.
Absolutely, definitely, man. Appreciate you, Rashad, for having me on. Georgia State gang as always.
Love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, rest in peace, Big E. Speaking about Georgia State, rest in peace, Big E. All right, fellas, y'all good to go. Y'all good. Have a good night. Everything. Enjoy, man, for sure.
Man,
Jared, unless you want to say
now.
something about Big E, you can say something about Big E right now, bro.
Nah, shout out to Big E, man. I remember him. He was a staple outside.
For sure, for sure. Big E passed away today too. Just a tough day. I ain't even gonna hold you for the
Man,
city of Atlanta, the Georgia State community, and
gosh,
then the people out here, especially in Louisiana. Oh my goodness, it was just. I went to
I
the
know it's
Pelicans
heavy.
game earlier, and it was just like kind of like a quiet energy that like they had all the
Yeah,
celebration stuff because it was the Pelicans' last game of the season. They celebrating the fans for supporting them all season, but it's like kind of a dark cloud over
yeah.
the city and over the state right now. So, prayers to the state of Louisiana and all the LSU fans and all the people over in Houston too. So, and the yeah, his whole family. So yeah, salute. But yeah, fellas, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all boys.
Appreciate
See
you.
you next time.
All right,
Peace.
all right, all right. Peace. Okay, hold on. Y'all want me to hold on. Let me see. I'll take you off the stage. All right, bet. Appreciate them boys, man. Moving on. The next thing I want to discuss. Let me see. The next thing I want to discuss. I'm gonna pull it up. I think I want to talk about the whole Pinky Cole situation. Pinky Cole, owner and founder of Slutty Vegan, she lost her business previously, and she got it back. But apparently, she fired her entire C-suite, and that's the thing that I want to see. Like, she fired her entire C-suite. Let me see. Pinky Cole C-suite, and I don't know. I think it's just an interesting story because she hold on, Atlanta Black Star. Do they have the story? Because I seen the graphic, but I need. Okay, all right, cool, we got it. Shout out to Atlanta Black Star. Shout out Black Media. This is actually FINRA that it's under. And so we're going to share that real quick. Okay, too far gone. Slutty Vegan's Pinky Cole says she's fired her entire C-suite and sold all of her real estate to sell the company. Entrepreneur Pinky, this is written by Nicole Duncan Smith. Oh, shout out to Nicole. I believe Nicole used to be at AJC. That's my dog. Anyways, entrepreneur Pinky Cole entered 2024 with a radical decision. The founder of Slutty Vegan, a plant-based burger empire once valued at $100 million, fired her entire C-suite and returned to hands-on leadership after stepping away to focus on motherhood. Dang. When the ship is sinking, you got to be able to start patching holes. Cole explained of her dramatic executive purge on the Earn Your Leisure podcast. The 37-year-old entrepreneur shared with the host that she enjoyed a really strong 6.5-year run with her provocatively named vegan fast food concept that built a cult-like following. When you think about restaurants that have a shelf life of 2 years, once you get in that third year, it usually gets a little rocky. During her brand's growth phase, she shifted priorities. Y'all know I went off and I had kids. During that time, she pivoted away from being a mascot and the face of the brand to focusing on doing brand partnerships. This strategic pivot made sense for the Clark Atlanta University alum. As an entrepreneur, there's a point in your professional career where you have to dominate in the spaces where you do well, she said. The approach initially paid dividends, raising money. We did raise. We raised money to grow the business. We grew up to 14 locations. I remember they had a location in Harlem. They had a location in Birmingham. And they've expanded out to college campuses in the Atlanta area like Georgia Tech. And they had a location at Spelman that recently closed. I believe the location in Harlem closed as well in this time. We got $25 million for 25%, and the company got valued at $100 million, Cole explained. However, beneath the surface, trouble was brewing. Despite strong sales, the company's operational infrastructure couldn't support its aggressive growth trajectory. We've always made money. Money's always been good. That was never the issue, Cole insisted. But what happened was our overhead value was higher than the money that we were bringing in. Ooh, hey, look, let me tell you, Slutty Vegan is about $20 for a burger and some fries. So the so the fact that the overhead had to be some too crazy, because if they were making sales and they had constant foot traffic for some $20 burgers, that's the reason why it's not on Spelman's campus anymore, because the Spelman students like, we can't afford no $20 burgers. That's something. She said, we've always made money. Money's always been good. That was never the issue, she insisted. But what happened is our overhead is higher than the money that we were bringing in. Corporate overhead ballooned to an unsustainable $10 million annually. Oh my gosh. Our bills were $1 million a month upwards for all the locations. Oh my gosh. By 2023, warning signs became impossible, no pun intended, impossible patties get it, to ignore. We realized that we got a problem, and the problem isn't today. The problem is in the future, Cole recalled. The situation deteriorated, leading to her decisive action. I came back to the company in January 2024, and I'm literally boots on the ground. I let go of the whole C-suite. Oh my gosh. She said, if ain't nobody going to fix it, I'm going to fix it. Hey, you guys don't know how the bills get to $1 million a month. What's going on here? Y'all not selling it? Y'all can't sell no burgers? We built this whole thing. All right, let me go. Despite her efforts to right the ship, cutting costs, and selling real estate assets, Cole ultimately faced the entrepreneur's nightmare. I had a couple million in real estate, started selling off the real estate, she explained, adding, but I realized that we were too far gone, and for a couple months I was fighting it. The conversation was like, hey, we need to put this in restructuring. I didn't want to do that. In February 2025, she lost control of her beloved brand through a restructuring deal due to cash flow issues in a volatile market. Now, if anybody knows about cash flow issues in a volatile market, it is this young man here that you see on the screen to the left, because I just filled out my taxes last night and I had to report, my Google earnings and everything like that, my YouTube earnings. And I wrote down all my expenses from trips and stuff like that. And they said, hey, you might be cool off an audit this year, but just know you're doing this YouTube thing and the expenses that you're marking off, it's a little bit different of what's coming in and what's going out. And if it keep going this way for years and years on end, and you filling out these taxes, the folks might have to knock on your door. I said, oh, Lord, please don't. Please don't. So it's a very real thing as an entrepreneur and as a business owner and things of that sort, man. So if you're an entrepreneur, everybody wants to be a boss, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but make sure, what I'm saying, you're thinking of ways to make the company profitable, because obviously that's the goal and stuff like that. And you can say, oh, it's not about the money, it's not about this, it's for the love, it's for the community. At the end of the day, with them taxes, you're going to have to start coming up with some money. Or them folk going, hello, and you don't want that. So, what I'm saying? So make sure that you're working towards a profitable business and making your business profitable, and you have the receipts and the proof to show that you're working towards making your business at, if you want to go into entrepreneurship and things of that sort. There's just a lot of layers to it with LLCs, trademarks. What was the other thing? LLCs, trademarks, and corporations, all those things. Like, you have to make sure that it's kind of moving forward. There's something going there, because if you're going to enter the world of business, the way that the government looks at it, it's like, you got to enter the world of business. I'm exiting out this video. You can't, be halfway. It's my side gig. I do it for fun. You got to go all the way in with it. So there's that for sure. Hold on. Oh, he said right, that part. Hold on. My twin here. Oh, hold on. We got someone else in the building, man. I gotta shout him out. I didn't even see you, cuz. I got my cuz in the building. This is another coach, a youth coach in basketball and things of that sort, man. And he's doing content creation now and everything like that. He's a former athlete, former Tri-Cities basketball player and things like that. We got my cousin in the building, man. Brentis Myers. Y'all give it up for Brentis. Brent, what's good, man? Brent, you on. What's good?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you on air.
Oh man, what's up, man? How's everybody going? How's everybody doing? I know you can hear
Man.
me. I was
Yeah.
typing.
We can hear you. Your camera's not on. Turn your camera on.
Okay, hold on. Let me get some light in. My boy, hold on.
Okay,
You
all
put me on
right,
the
cool.
spot.
All
Yeah,
right. Hey, just let me know in the chat when you're ready, and I'll bring
okay.
you back on stage. We'll
All right,
do it
that's a
like
bit.
that.
That's a bit.
Okay, bet. All right, cool. So that's my cousin. He in the waiting room. But yeah, she lost control and a cash flow issues in a volatile market. This is not the first setback that she's ever encountered in her journey. After losing her first Harlem restaurant to set fire, oh my gosh, in 2016, an event that left her car repossessed and facing eviction. Oh my goodness, but God. Cole had already, I gotta watch this Earn Your Leisure episode. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure, man. Shout out to Rashad and Troy, them boys, doing it what they gotta do. But an event that had her car repossession facing eviction, Cole had already earned what she calls an expert at failing credentials. Remarkably, just weeks later, Cole orchestrated the company's repurchase through an entity called Ain't Nobody Coming to See You, Otis LLC. She told Forbes, I actually lost Slutty Vegan and I just brought it back. And to say that, that makes me emotional because for the past year and a half, I've dealt with the toughest experience of my life. Now focused on Slutty Vegan 2.0, Cole has scaled back to 8 locations across Georgia, Alabama, Maryland, and New York. I didn't even know there was in Maryland. While planning global expansion to Dubai and Africa. Well, there it is. Her vision extends beyond the bar vegan, beyond burgers to bar vegan, a cocktail concept, and Hayes Hospitality Group, a joint venture with her husband, Derek Hayes, the owner of Big Dave's Cheesesteaks. Legal challenges remain, including wage-related lawsuits from the former employees, but Cole is focused. With a new mindset to restart her building, she is primed to dominate like she has been over the last 10 years. No, 100%. Shout out to Pinky Cole. Best of luck to her. Like I said, I'm about to check out this Earn Your Leisure episode at some point tonight or something like that. And but yeah, there's definitely something so serious. It's a serious situation with business and stuff like that. But for her to keep her head on straight, I know she was on like a whole, like they say, she said it makes more sense now to know that she stepped away from the company to do what she did and everything like that, and make sure that she had her business in place and stuff like that. Brent said he's ready to come back on the screen. I'll bring him back up in a quick second. But yeah, man, she was doing appearances, and it was like she was kind of. It felt like on the outside she was just like trying to kind of expand the Pinky Cole celebrity, as opposed to continuing grow the business of Slutty Vegan, because Slutty Vegan was already established as a cult like following, a popular thing that people use when they came to Atlanta, use when they went to these different areas and stuff. Lines going out the door is kind of designed to look like that. And to hear just upright, she was like, yeah, I had kids, so I went to focus on promotion and marketability and bringing more money into the brand. As an overall big picture thing, it makes a lot more sense. Yeah, Brent, we got Brent in the building. Let me bring Brent back to the stage. Brent, was good.
What's going
Yes,
on?
sir. Man, how you feeling, Brent? How you feeling, cuz?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Had a good weekend. I did the TNT thing with the White Howard. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
Showed some skills and stuff like that. We'll see what the results are gonna be, but just definitely just a positive weekend. Healthy and alive amongst the land of the living. Glad to be here. I see you doing your thing, man. Loving it, man. This is fire, bro.
No,
Proud
no,
of
I
you.
appreciate, I appreciate it, cuz. I appreciate it, cuz, for sure, for sure. But like you say, but before we get into the Kyren Lacy situation, and we
Okay.
just had Jared Oliver and my boy DJ Bossick on speaking
Okay.
about it earlier in the hour. But before we get into that, I do want to ask you about like the entire Dwight Howard experience in the tryout. Like, how
Mhm.
was it? What was it? For the people who don't know, and yeah.
So it's an Asian tournament Dwight Howard put together. Um, and he was having the tryouts for people who wanted to, be a pro athlete, be a pro basketball player, and be able to travel and go to different countries and play ball. Man, like that's been like a dream of mine. Any pro or a former athlete or a pro who's considers themselves a pro.
Hold on. That yeah. Okay. I guess it's about to come out. Hold on. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Go mute again. Go mute again. Hold on. What's going on? Wait, hold on. Can you hear me? We can't hear you. I can't hear you. No, I can't hear you right now. Yeah, no, I can't hear you. All right. We gonna wait for him. No, not yet, not yet. Hold on. I'm okay. All right. Hold on. Say something again. No, not yet. All right, I'm gonna take you off the stage and then we're gonna give it a second and then see like put go on mute and then unmute. Okay. I'm gonna add you back to the stage. Say something. No, it's gone. It's gone. The audio's gone. The audio's gone. All right. Hold on. Look into settings. Look into settings if you have settings over there, and try to pick, I guess, a microphone. In the meantime, I'm gonna look up. I'm trying to look up the flyer that Dwight put out for these tryouts. I don't see one yet. Hold on. There we go. I found it. Okay, bet. I found it on the social media. And Brent, just keep talking periodically, and I'll let you know when I can hear you again. But yeah, this is it right here. Dwight Howard, he posted this. he was saying if you want the opportunity to play pro ball, you know, he's gonna have tryouts for that and stuff like that. And my cousin apparently tried out, man. He tried out. Here it is. TAT, Dwight Howard Combine. This is your moment. You've been putting in the work. Now it's time to get noticed. Apply for the link with the link in bio and things of that sort. Dwight obviously just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Atlanta basketball legend for sure. One of the greatest centers of his time. Still can't hear you. Still can't hear you, twin. You know, obviously one of the best of his time and one of the best centers ever. And I think my cousin, he's about to see. Hold on, let me see. Edit mic sessions. No, it's just not. Try leaving and yeah, okay. I think he's gonna leave and come back. So but yeah. Dwight, one of the best centers of all time, but definitely one of the best center of his time, of his era, of his peak, and things of that sort. You know, he's giving back to the game now. Obviously, been playing in Taiwan the past couple of years, and the way that he's giving back is allowing other Americans to get in Taiwan. So
Just
there you go. You
all
back,
right,
you
all
back,
right, all
cuz
right,
you
all
back.
right, man.
All right,
All
but
right, I had to
yeah.
leave, come back out.
Yeah. So okay, so you were speaking about, you know, you said obviously it's kind of a dream for all former athletes and aspiring athletes to try
Yeah.
out for the pros and stuff like that. Just how was the experience?
Oh man, the experience, like I said, the setup was nice. It was very well organized. His people was there, and they went right into it. They, of course, they gave us like a speech what they're looking for, and you know, the white was there. They had a couple of other guys that was there also like scouting and seeing who's who and stuff like that. But we just like really did, you know, ran up the court, like played ball as, you know, it's a kind of like a dog eat mentality. They like, you gotta come up, show what your skills is and stuff like that. So it was nice competition, nice bump, as you know, in basketball terminology, good bump. Some shots fall, some don't, but I really, to me, like I would just say, just seeing other people who were like kind of had a higher motive to see, like it's to me, it's like just to see where you at, even if you don't get picked, you know what I'm saying, to see the competition, you know, to see where you need to improve on and stuff like that. They did like a lot of combine drills that they do in the NBA that I always seen, the L drill, you know what I'm saying, layup, 3 pointers, contested jump shot. So it was like really more conditioning. Then we just ran, played fives. They didn't tell us who was pit that day, but like I said, it was a great experience. If I get picked, we're gonna see what the next step is and stuff like that. But yeah, good experience to even see where you rank amongst your other peers and people older, people younger than you. You know what I'm saying? You had some young boys out there and getting straight out of college and stuff like that. You met and you get I was able to like network and to meet some other people that I did know. I know some guys that I played with LA Fitness, they came through. So it was like, oh man, you here too. Like it was like, that's what's up, man. Trying to get it. So it's really good being here in Atlanta. So
For sure, it sounded like a good like kind of bringing together the community and everything
yeah,
like that.
yeah, it
For
kind
sure.
of was. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
beyond just like
yeah.
kind of what y'all there for. It was like, you know,
Exactly.
just the basketball community coming together and everything like that. And
Yeah.
like you say, networking for you, you know, as a trainer, you
You
know,
feel me?
and as a coach, as a youth coach,
Right.
you can bring some of these guys in to speak to the kids, to
Yeah,
work
yeah,
out
but
with
for
the
sure.
kids and everything like that, and to
No,
speak.
facts.
So you know, it was a thing. It's reminded me of I interviewed Joe Johnson a few years ago at the Big Three,
Okay.
and you know, I'm talking to Joe about like what's his advice for NBA players going into retirement about life after basketball. And this
Uh-huh.
is on the NBA level. Regardless of what level you at, it's got to be life after the game. And
Yeah.
he was saying you could do this, you can go into business, you can do that. He said, or you could be like me, I'm still playing. You know, because he had the big three. You know, Joe doing the yoga, so he's still in shape.
Yeah.
He's still
Yeah.
doing the little pickup. I remember you said you was invited to the shoot that they did where they
Yeah.
had them go out to a random park in Atlanta and just start
Yeah.
cooking random people one on one.
Man, facts. Nah,
You
facts.
know what I'm saying? So Joe's still hooping well into his 40s, but
Yeah.
there's still like the inevitable. Like even Dwight now hosting this tryout for people to play in Taiwan and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like Dwight is inducted into the Hall of Fame because he's
All the
been out of the
same.
NBA for 5 years.
Yeah.
This joke is still trying to get into the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like he's playing in Big Three this summer, and he said that
Yeah.
was going to be his final season of
Wow.
basketball. We'll see if that holds true. I don't know if I believe it.
Because
But
he still
if
looks
you
like he can still. I mean, look better. Like he said, I think he said himself like he's in the best shape he's ever been. You feel me? Like he
exactly.
still look healthy. He still think he can bang with Jokic. I heard him say and stuff like that. He kind of still salty about the Lakers letting him go, but you know that's another story. But yeah, no, he still look like he got a lot left in the tank. So
Hey, while we on this right now, but before we get into everything else, bro,
uh-huh.
shout out to Chris Paul, bro, for sure, man.
Of
Give
course,
it up for Chris Paul.
Chris
Chris
Paul.
Paul got to be 38 years old,
Nah,
year 20
the
in
year.
the league. He played all 82 games this season. I think it was the first time in his career. He's 39. First time in his
Wow.
career. He turns 40 next month. First time in his 20-year
Dang.
career that Chris Paul has played all 82 games, bro.
Nah, that's fat. That's fire.
In the
Dang.
age coming up in the age of
Yeah.
resting stars, load management, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
Chris, even just being a superstar at his size, he's always had to be a little more aggressive on the
Yeah.
defensive end and the offensive end to get his. And because he plays so aggressively, Joker always was getting hurt. You know, he got
Yeah.
the shoulder things on every time he plays, even to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to have a history of being hurt all the time, it's kind of like a Steph Curry thing where Steph, at the beginning of his career, he had a history of being hurt all the time. And, I think it's very easy as fans to like look at someone and say they are who they are and write them off. Like
Yeah.
if they have history of being injured, usually Father Time shows as you get older, you ain't gonna get healthier as you get older.
Right.
You gonna get hurt more. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
So
facts.
like a guy like a MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. up there in Denver, a guy like
Yeah.
a obviously Anthony Davis is like the face of this.
Right.
Zion down here in New Orleans. Once you get that kind of stigma, that label on you that you a guy that always get hurt, LaMelo Ball over in Charlotte,
Yeah.
it's difficult to kind of grow out of that and to conquer that and play all 82 games because this was probably a thing for Chris Paul just like mentally, personally, like
Yeah.
San Antonio not competing for, you know what I'm saying?
No, no,
Hold
no
on, hold on.
championship. Yeah.
Well, let me check. Let me check now. Let me see because
Let's hit this
with
see the
the
record. The numbers.
well, with the playing these days, you just don't know who is the 10th seed. But no,
Okay.
no, they weren't competing for a 10th seed spot. So he played today just out of the pure love and like kind of the game and kind of to
Yeah.
show himself, I guess, to prove to himself. 20 seasons in,
Bro,
I can
that's
play all 82 games. So
wow.
definitely have to that needs to be told. The same way that people, we talk about LeBron, everything LeBron, the oldest man to ever make a layup in an NBA game. Longest man, like it's crazy the way we talk
Nah,
about
fast.
LeBron.
He don't
And for
get
good
enough praise for
reason.
that.
You know what
Nah,
I'm
fast.
saying? For good reason, because it's like, Vince Carter was, in the league as long as LeBron was. And we were like, oh, snap, Vince Carter hit a three-pointer. Vince Carter can still dunk off two hands.
I'll do it.
Like,
Nah, fast.
you know what I'm saying? LeBron doing women. He's still looking like
Windmill.
09 LeBron in
Nah, fast.
22 years in, 23 seasons in. So,
Yeah.
all the praise for LeBron is warranted. But at
Yeah.
the same
Same
time, we
time.
want to make sure that we don't let this Chris Paul thing just kind of go past people's radars because he was on a losing team. He did this at his size at the age 40. He's turning 40 next month and played all 82 games for the first time in his career. So I definitely want to salute that. You
That's
can go
actually
ahead,
that's
Brent.
a big shout out. That's a good look that you even brought that up because I didn't even know that, or I bet a lot of people didn't know that. So man, that's amazing. I'm gonna tell my team about that. Like
Yeah.
Chris Paul at 40 still. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. And
The-
imagine the amount of we always say LeBron James with the $1 million body. Chris Paul got to definitely you know um have some money into his body to play that long and then be that healthy, So yeah, big shout out to
like you
Chris
said, at
Paul
his size,
at
like
his
a lot of
size.
people, like
Yeah,
you might not realize, but it's kind of like the whole Trey Young thing. But like Trey
yeah,
Young dominates the game at
yeah,
his size, and Trey Young, I think he's probably he definitely taller than Chris Paul. Like Trey probably like 6'2", 6'3", but
yeah,
like out there he looks like 6 foot. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And to
Sure.
control the game that the way he does at his size is so impressive to me, bro. The
Mhm.
closest that Chris Paul got to this was 2007, 2008, the David West days, the days with
Wow,
Peja Stojakovic, they wearing the yellow jerseys in
the
the
yellow
playoffs.
jersey. Oh,
And he played 81 games. He played 80 games that season in the regular season. and
Wow.
I believe they made a little run in the playoffs that year too. That was the
Mhm.
year that New Orleans hosted the All Star game. So definitely big ups to Chris Paul. Hold on, let me get my camera right. I gotta switch to the laptop camera.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, definitely shout out to Chris Paul, man, for sure. On that accomplishment and everything like that. And salute to, Dwight. And I think with technology and stuff like that, bro, all the like things that people are offered, we
Mhm.
have resources and stuff. Like it's kind of designed for the modern day athlete to last longer than
Yeah.
you think about Larry Bird. Larry Bird had a great prime and he broke his
Mhm.
back and he had to retire like
Yeah.
in his
Yeah.
early 30s. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Thomas had to retire at like 34. It's just the way it was back then. So yeah, I guess like any words that you have like on kind of like the modern day medicine and studies that we have to continue playing because you're still playing like you say you still playing. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
talking about
No.
the
No.
young boys playing. You still going. You know what I'm saying? You kind of seasoned at this point, cuz.
No offense, and it is due with the today's technology and information that has been awarded to us. It's like um let's go back to Joe Johnson. He's doing the yoga. Like the if you want to preserve your body, you're gonna have to take care of the body. It's your temple. Like you're gonna have to do things that wasn't afforded or wasn't included back in the day. Like I do my little morning meditation. I'm gonna stretch before I go to bed. I'm gonna stretch before I work out. Like those things are gonna preserve me, and the information that I have just with even social media to look up the type of juicing. I juice regularly now. That's what help. Water. I know about watermelon juice. I know about alkaline water. You know what I'm saying? So all of these things I didn't have any access to it in high school or pre-college, but now I do, and that like gives me more energy. I take like vitamins and gummies and stuff like that. Stuff that I know that I've read and researched that can help me prolong my ability. And then I do proper strength training. I do proper meal prep. I do proper coordination just to keep my mind healthy and stuff like that. So these things like what I didn't have in high school. If I'd have had this in high school, it would have been a different story. But now I do. I ain't gonna hold you. I'd have been a different. Oh, I've been a different boy back then. But now I do. I like now. I'm more strategic. I'm more natural with it because I have these things awarded to me because of technology. And I go with ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT. Hey, what's the best thing to do to help build this? And they'll tell me right there. I was like, okay, bet. I'm doing it, and then I can see the results in my body. They'll tell you to the T. I'm talking about to the T. Like this, is what you need to do to build this, and this is how long you can last. And we have that. Oh man, listen, you ahead of the game. Like I can compete with these young boys, and I know I have an upper advantage because they have the same access to the technology, but they don't know how to use it. You feel me? So they just go out there and play and stuff like that. Well, I'm out here properly doing it the right way, and then I'm up here lasting longer than them. I'm out here like, hey man, y'all boys tired. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's
Now,
amazing.
as
It's
you
amazing.
became the old head talking
You know
about,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I know y'all boys ain't tired.
Right,
He
right.
can't say, no, run it back, run it back. No, run it back. No, why y'all got your hands on your knees?
Right,
Run it
right.
back.
Come on, your
Go.
blood. Come on, your blood.
Nah, 100%, man. So
For sure.
I'm gonna ask you the same type of questions that I asked the other guys earlier today, kind of getting into it. At what point did you started playing basketball and fell in love with the game and stuff?
Ooh, we at one point I fell in love with basketball. So for me, it was I would say Space Jam, the movie when that came out. It was like that revolutionized like my mind. Everybody wanted to be like to me, or I wanted to be like Mike. The whole shooting behind the backboard. Even when we was growing up, y'all had the basketball court, but we stayed outside like just shooting hoop. Like what I'm saying? That was just like the movie within itself, like I said, Space Jam is like that's what I seen a black kid that just I saw me. So I'm like, hey, he's out there. I want to do the same thing, and I just really love that. And then I would say, if we just I'm gonna talk like movie wise, I relate to movies, but then Love and Basketball came, so I was like, oh man. You know what I'm saying? You go out there, you hoop, you see a girl, you know what I'm saying? Like that whole thing right there. I love that. and really was another one. This gonna be last. I know you're gonna know this too, but N1, when N1 came out, oh my gosh. And then, like, oh man, it was a wrap. Like
Yeah, man.
that was
When I
love,
tell you,
bro.
bro, like,
Bro, it
but
was it.
I gotta tell people, like, in terms of, because so many people like influence, kind of like, if people ever wonder how I got so into basketball, it's so many
Yeah.
influences
It
and
really,
throughout
yeah.
life and stuff. Like my uncle just passed on my mom's side,
Okay.
and I used to play one-on-one with him all the time, and he loved ball, and he played alongside Phil Ford in high school, who went on to be four corners over there at UNC, a UNC legend and stuff like that, and played in the league for a couple years. And he played with Buck Williams, who played in the league a few years, got his jersey retired by the Nets and stuff like that, and
Okay.
a basketball Hall of Famer. All of these things, like him playing with him in his 50s and his 40s, where he's still dunking 50,
Wow.
playing me one-on-one out there at the park over there in Marietta and stuff like that. He helped shape my love for the game and stuff like that over
Mhm.
the years. Obviously, I say it was start, like you said, Space Jam. Space
Yeah.
Jam came out the year I was born, so I used to
Wow.
watch Space Jam every morning before I went to school. So, and
That-
the reason later in life where I was even in band was because of Drumline. So you know what I'm saying. So it's
Wow.
like it's the same thing
Okay.
where movies shaped what I wanted to do and
Yeah.
where I wanted to go. But in terms of like just different basketball kind of spaces, definitely and one, it was
Yeah.
my cousin Brent. So you know what I'm saying, like Brent, like is just in love with and one, bro. Like, yeah, but Brent was also the one, him and his dad, the
Yeah.
first ones that take me to run and shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like the Atlanta Staples. So it's like
Yeah.
I wouldn't know as much about Atlanta basketball and street ball if it
Wow.
wasn't for my cousin, my big cousin here, man. So I just wanted to tell you that, like on
For
camera,
sure.
everything like that in
Yes,
real
sir.
time.
That's
But yeah, man. So at what point did you realize like you were kind of good at basketball?
uh not gonna hold you. Like I wasn't. It happened later on in life for me. I was very um natural or very athletic just for as like a kid that could play. Um, I didn't, but my confidence. I ain't gonna hold you, my confidence was not the best because I thought I wasn't as good as other people. I didn't have nobody to like speak in me or to like help train me to get better. So I didn't realize I was good until I'll say I became maybe like a sophomore or junior in high school. I was like, I can compete with some of these guys and stuff like that. Like I just gotta my knowledge grew. Like I started seeing the game a little different, like Kobe and stuff like that. I started to research the game. And then that's how my confidence grew. But my confidence wasn't the best, or my game didn't really grow because I just didn't honestly didn't know how to. I would say I didn't know how to like compete on at a high level, like to do it in and day out and stuff like that. I think that would grew my confidence when I started to take it seriously and stuff like that. Then I was like, okay, now I can like really compete. And then I say when I went to New York was a real big game changer because you heard, if you grew up back in the day or if you even now, like you hear about New York ball is way different. It's a street ball. So if you can hoop there, like you can hoop anywhere. When I went up there, after high school and stuff like that, it's first is like very, what I'm saying, intimidating. You go to Rugged Park, they nigga, checking you out, see what you got. Like, bro, you're gonna get tested for sure. So you better come with something, you know what I'm saying? So it was either you're gonna step up or step down. You feel me? So if you want to run and ain't no weak fouls or nothing like that. That's the one thing I made sure. Like even if I did get fouled, I know they know the foul. They know it's a foul. I know it's a foul. I didn't call foul. That's what's gonna bring your toughness out. That's what drew my confidence. Cause then after the game, they're like, "Yo, sure, I know, I fouled you, but hey, you didn't call nothing. Good, who? You feel?" I was like, "Okay," not knowing he gonna say that, but I'm like, "Hey, that's what's up." That's when I gained that respect, and then that's when I gained my confidence. Like, oh, if I know I can ball now, but if I got the New York guy telling me that I can hoop, oh, it's a wrap now. So my confidence became a little bit in my adult and teen years and stuff like that. So
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I appreciate that perspective.
yeah.
I guess, man, like you say, like for your confidence and everything like that, to know that you could do it coming later in life than most athletes and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
guess, just even growing up before then, right? When you
Yeah.
playing growing up as a kid, but you thinking like I'm good, but I don't know if I'm good compared to this 6'5" kid who can dunk on a fast break and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when growing up with that, how did you kind of like correlate that directly to your self worth as a kid?
Mm. Oh, that's a good question. How did I correlate that with my self worth? Oh man, I got it held me back. Do you feel? I ain't gonna hold you. It held me back because I couldn't give it my all because my abilities would show on the court. Like I would be kind of I would be shy or intimidated, and this would so I was shy and intimidated but my coach would still put me out there and say you got to go out there and compete no matter whether or not you're scared or not. So yeah, I felt it, but I still had to like go through the fire because if I didn't, then I would have had like regrets or I would have been a different type of person. But my coach did just throw me out there and say, hey man, you're gonna have to figure that out. Like it wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? You go if my coach would have let me sit down and say, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you don't want to play no more? It's all right, man. He would have scarred me for life. But I had to go through the ringer. You know what I'm saying? I had to earn my stripes, or earn my bruises and stuff like that, and still do it scared. Still do it like I have to do it with my self worth not being the best. Do it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe get across it, but now I know, you know what I'm saying? All these bad things happen, if I learn from that though. I know how to put myself in better situations. So that's why I was like a quick on my feet. Like, okay, I see this person doing this. I know when that move is coming, and then that was like, okay, now I'm starting to pick it up a little bit better because I stayed out on the court and getting, challenging by other people that's bigger, faster, and stuff like that. So I had to change up my mind to see whether I can or how can I influence by staying on the court and getting better. That's from the coach, man. So shout out
No,
to him.
100%. So it was like even though that as you put your self worth, it was directly tied to how you played in sports. You
Yeah,
flip that into like, okay, sports taught me, all right, difficult times gonna happen,
it
struggles gonna
is.
happen, but you
Yeah,
still got to go out there anyways and go into the fire and compete
yeah,
because that's just life. Life gonna continue to go,
yeah,
whether or not stuff going well for you or stuff is going tough for you. You
yeah.
still got to go
Still,
to work. You still got to the bills. What like I said, what happened on the first? What happened on the first?
no,
You
Bill
still don't
gonna
have
be
to pay
due.
rent. Like the
Yeah,
world could be falling down the roof. And, oh man, the girl just left. What gonna happen on the first? Bleep.
man.
Still
Yep.
got to pay that. You know what I'm saying? So
Still.
that's just what it is, man. So
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate that perspective.
Yeah.
And then I guess the added weight of it
Hmm.
as a young black man and stuff like that. Formerly as a black boy, young black boy and stuff like that, growing up. Uh, like you say, you watch Space Jam growing up. That was the thing that kind of, like you say,
So.
radicalized your mind. Basketball, basketball, basketball. I love this sport. You going with your pop to run and shoot, everything like that.
Hmm.
Um, just what was it like as a black boy growing up, loving the game of basketball, but almost kind of like it's almost an expectation to play a sport. Like you're not gonna sit in this house all day. You about to play a sport.
Yeah.
So what was that expectation like growing up with?
The expectation was, you know, you have to. I would say my dad, like he wasn't like very verbal, but he was definitely very showing, and so it's like he didn't have to tell me to go play ball. I just seen him do it. So it was instinctively like I wanted to do what he was doing because that was the closest thing that was resemblance to me. So it's like when he went to the gym, I would just like see the mannerism and see people like shout out to speak to him and say yo what's up Bob, you know what I'm saying, like I like that was I thought he was like, you feel me, I thought that man was like a legend and stuff like that, you feel me, so I was like I want that, you feel me, so it wasn't so much of the verbal, but I was like if I want to like I want to grow up and have that type of not admiration but respect, had that type of respect. I go into the gym, hey man, I'm running with you. You know what I'm saying? That I just seen that from my dad. And so what's crazy is like one time when I got of age and stuff like that, I ran with my dad. That was like I never forget this. Like I ran with and I'm telling you, word to God, like I hit the game winning shot, and bro, it was just amazing because like I was playing me and my cousin dad the same team, but me and him like we you thought we would have played 100 games together. I mean, like, bro, first game together, we like vibing. He looked for me. I'm hitting a shot. Like I was like, it was just a highlight. I don't know, it was from God Himself just gave me the ability to shine that day. But that day, I had hit a game on the shot. He's like, and then his friends and the other people on the court. That's your boy, yeah, man. That's I say, oh, bro, listen, I'll eat that. I ate that up so bad. That right there, that was just God written for that. So I can't even really take credit for that. That was God. I ain't gonna hold you. So
No, 100%. Because it's like the relationship with my father and stuff like that. Growing up, he took me to the games and everything, and exposed me
yeah,
to basketball. And it was like, my dad, even though like my pops and stuff like that. Like even though he is very he can talk and stuff like that. He can
uh-huh.
speak. He can speak very well and stuff. At the same time, in a weird way, he isn't very vocal with like
Yeah,
just basic life stuff. It's like what he's vocal about is like business and
yeah,
like
yeah,
progression and stuff like that. So
yeah.
um the thing that we have bonded over my entire life and stuff like that. And it's funny, shout out to the dude that was like trying to come up at me in my comments and saying I didn't know my father. Ha 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 ha.
What?
Uh he's
Wow.
man, YouTube crazy, bro. You'll see as you grow. But
Okay.
but yeah, he was all right. So I'll give you a quick synopsis.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
a little detour. So
Okay.
I'm covering the whole Carmelo situation, right? Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, the situation
Yeah,
in
I
Dallas,
heard it.
Texas, the tragedy where the young man allegedly stabbed and unalive the white boy Austin Metcalf.
All right.
My initial reaction to it on the channel was, I can't believe his parents named him Carmelo. And so, as you
Yeah.
know, as the support for Carmelo Anthony has increased on this internet, folks start seeing that video, boy. My initial reaction, what's wrong with the name Carmelo Anthony? It's a perfect name. Why would you call his parents out for saying this? And I said, this was my initial reaction on the internet. My first thing seeing the kid's name, Carmelo Anthony, it made me
Yeah.
laugh. It is funny to me. It's the same thing when I see a kid named that plays football. There's a kid on the Seahawks named Kobe Bryant. And it's a kid that plays college football somewhere whose name is LeBron James. I just think it's funny when your family has a famous last name and like
Right.
your parents are like, you know what, we should name him for the first name. It's funny
No,
to me. You can't act like it's not funny because the
no, okay.
circumstances are serious and this is a
Seriously,
tragedy. So
yeah.
I did that whole thing, and they said, "How dare you speak on his parents like that?" Yeah, da, da, da. So anyway, dude come in today in my comments. He said, "Well, why your parents name you Rashad?" I said, "My mom chose Rashad to name me after Ahmad Rashad." And he
Uh-huh.
said, "Oh, so named after a football player who cheated on his wife and did this and did that. That's your." I said, "See, I get the essence of your comeback, but it doesn't make sense because my
Uh-huh.
last name is not Rashad." My last name was Rashad, and my mom named me Ahmad. Then you had to
Then you have
put
a
that into what happened.
right.
I have and then he said, "Oh, so you at least Carmelo grew up in a 2-parent household. You don't even know your dad, this and that." I said, I actually texted my dad this morning, but thank you for that. And
Right.
this and that. And I didn't even get into the other stuff, Brent,
Right. That is.
like family, government, and everything like that. I didn't even get into that.
Oh
I'm
man.
just like, because like it's ironic making fun of my name and saying I don't know my dad with my name being my name, but we ain't gonna get into that.
Oh,
That's private. That's family stuff. That's family stuff. Anyways,
man.
to get back into it. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, with my dad, the major way that we bond and everything
Mhm.
like that is over sports.
Yeah.
Watching the game, talking about the game, watching boxing matches on Saturday nights, the big fights and stuff like that. That's how we bond.
Yeah.
And so like sports is definitely a huge part. As a black boy growing up into a young black man,
Mm-hmm.
sports was like the thing that really kind of held
Kind of
everything
help. Yeah.
together. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Without that, I don't know what the relationship looks like with me and my dad,
Yeah.
to be
No,
honest. You
that's
know what
the
I'm saying?
truth.
So I owe a lot to sports as a young black man. At
Yeah.
the same time, I saw a lot of my peers where it was like they spent so much time AAU workouts, this and that. Like they dedicated their entire lives to making it to the league.
Yeah.
And it's like when you get to 18, 19, or even in college, and now it's like, okay, the league is looking further and further distant.
Yeah.
What do I do now? And a lot of them get depressed. They have identity crisis, as DJ mentioned when he was on here an hour ago and stuff like that. Jared mentioned it, that he went through an hour ago where he was a senior, 18, and he's like, okay, what do I want to do now? Because he played football, basketball, and he ran track. And, you know, he had some looks and scouts and stuff like that, but the offers weren't coming in like his peers were. So he knew he wasn't going to make it to the league at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, for you, you know, kind of what was that kind of thing of like just figuring out, because I know you've had a few lives, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, moving up to New York when you was in Jersey, you moved up with a pastor, you going in ministry. Now you moving back down and now you're in youth coaching and stuff like that. So what has that journey been like for you post playing or figuring out who you are?
Yeah, man. Wow. Figuring out who I am, it's like I would just say I would have to like look at it as seasons in my life. Not everything is permanent, and so I just try to face or tackle what I'm doing with like everything I got. So if it's in the ministry, then that's what I'm doing for this like particular season and stuff like that. I just also know that you know my faith is bigger than my circumstances. So if it's meant for me, then God will find a way for me to, you know, kind of get back to it. So I always have that like in the back of my mind. But with the ministry thing, when I went up to New York and in New Jersey and stuff like that, um, my love never like went away from me because I know what basketball was for me. Like when I didn't have things to do, like ball was my like you know what I'm saying my go-to person when I wasn't talking to you or my friends and stuff like that. Ball was that like that secretive person. So and if you have a real relationship with the ball, you're gonna be mad at the ball because they some days it don't go in throwing that you know what I'm saying, like you're gonna have some good days and some good days and some bad days with the ball, but the ball is like it's such an intimate sport and such an intimate relationship. So I never like didn't see myself playing ball because like I said, and we go back to my dad. Like my dad played ball until he was up in age and run and shoot. So I just know like basketball is gonna be a part of my life forever because when one day when I do get like a child, I'm gonna put that ball in his cradle. Like the legacy is going to continue. But back to like I said with New Jersey and New York, it's like I went up there for ministry, and I just even if I would see a court or I would see a basketball hoop. I'm going there. Like even if I'm a full suit tie, if you pass me the ball, I'm shooting it. I'm gonna do it to you. I'm gonna like that's just part. It's in my DNA. Like I couldn't escape it if I tried. So even with the ministry, I took it as serious as I could. I just kept faith in God that I would find a way back into it, and I just trusted my intuition, trusted myself. You know what I'm saying? The God that's in me that if it turns out if I don't play ball, you feel me? I knew I tried every resource and everything I did. God just had something bigger for me to do. But he had it in his way that I return back into it and I give back to some that I have crossed paths with. So
Yeah, no, 100%. And I guess to have that kind of realization of your what's the saying that people say? It's like my image or my identity is not through the ball or the world, but my
yeah,
identity is through him.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And things of
yeah,
that sort. So it seems like you came to that realization, you know what I'm saying, through the ministry.
yeah,
While you was in ministry and stuff like that, it's like, okay, I still love basketball.
yeah,
Um, I might not be pro, you know what I'm saying, or made the league like I thought I would when I was a kid, made the
right.
NBA and stuff like that. But it's okay. And life is still good. It's
Life is
seasons.
pretty good.
Is
Yeah,
this, is that because you learn that through, going up there in ministry and stuff like
yeah.
that.
No,
So
for sure.
no, for sure,
Definitely.
salute to that. And moving into, I guess, kind of like the reason why we're even talking about all of this as Black boys, young
Mm-hmm.
Black men growing up and stuff like that, is the Kyren Lacy situation today.
Okay.
So, just to give you a little rundown of the facts of what we know right now with Kyren. Hold on, let me share the screen real quick.
Okay.
Give me a second. what we know with Kyren that's going on. Shout out to NOLA News as always. The Times Picayune. Make sure y'all subscribe to them to
Okay.
support me as well. But the
Um,
former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy, he was
uh-huh.
unalive from a self-inflicted bling wound during a car chase. Police say. So essentially, what happened was the 24-year-old Kyren Lacy. He was arguing with a family member. Some people say it was his sister, and he shot a gun at the ground. Kind of from the argument, got in his car, drove off, sped off. Police got wind of what was going on with the argument and stuff like that. They started chasing Lacy. As they started chasing him, he apparently, you know, uh, blinged himself, and as a result, of course, behind the wheel, the car crashed, and by the time the cops got to him, he was already gone. So, what he was facing was he was a former kind of projected first round pick.
Yeah.
He was following the footsteps of Malik Neighbors and one of his closest friends as well, Jaden Daniels, who's the face of the league. And Malik Neighbors was competing for Rookie of the Year next to Jaden Daniels last season with the New York Giants. And they even told him on a Zoom call, "You next up, brother." And he said, "Yeah, y'all boys, congratulations." And that was the thing. So he was his entire life not only preparing and expecting to make the NFL, it was expected. Like it was no longer a far-fetched dream. He's a
Yeah.
star receiver at a major Power Four NFL producing machine program at LSU, and that all changed. Like Jared said, December 17th when he got into a car accident where he allegedly struck and killed the man, an elderly veteran and stuff like that, from just vehicular homicide negligence, and apparently it was a hit and run as well, allegedly, and there was also accusations that he was under the influence at the time.
Mm.
So when that came out, he wasn't invited to the combine. He started sliding down the draft boards.
Yeah.
The only time he got for a public workout before the draft, which is in about a week and a half at the time of recording this, was LSU's pro day. So it's like he went from being the guy having dreams of making the NFL his whole life to like you are weeks away from making the NFL. It got to the point where I don't think he played in a bowl game. He didn't play in a bowl game to risk his NFL stock value and everything like that. So it's like you're weeks away from realizing your lifelong dream at 24 years old of making the NFL. Your parents, your family probably depending on your paychecks, everything like that. Their lives are going to change, and it's taken away from you in an instant.
Man.
And that's a lot for the mental to handle, man. So I guess just what's your overall reaction to the Kyren Lacy news, man?
Yeah. Condolences to his family, and all that was impacted. I would just say, like, emotional maturity, man, is real. Like, we have to be aware of what we're doing and what the goal is, and not to go from this, but it reminds me so much of Len Bias, of that story of how he was so close to the finish line of getting drafted. He's in the same class of Michael Jordan. It was going to the Boston Celtics. Man, it didn't even sign, bro. I'm talking about didn't even sign the contract yet, and then he's what I'm saying, he takes a drug and he's unalive. So this has, not that one story is better than the other, but this has been the story of about black men, about how we kind of take our foot off the gas before we're at our destination. And it's this is this right here, correlation is a testament that fella, we have to surround ourselves with people who see our best interests, at their footfall. And we got to be humble enough to honor and respect that. Like, we should, everything his life should have been like scheduled. You go here, somebody, you need a driver, you gotta, what I'm saying, and when you're in the limelight, something like that, you're projected to here, you're gonna have to subdue your lifestyle, no matter what the public or your peers and stuff gonna say. You have to uh succumb to some of the challenges or some of the things of your flesh that wants to go out and do things. but you have to realize the bigger picture. And I think that we are our own worst enemy at that. And then we see stuff like this happen because we're not in controlled environments. And nothing's wrong with controlled environments. If this is our destination, if we say we want to do this, then you're gonna have to. We already know about cutting sacrifices because you're gonna have to do 5 a.m. workouts. LSU ain't it ain't no rinky dink. You cut out sacrificing from partying and stuff like that to even go to the school to even make the team. So to sacrifice a little bit of enjoyment, a little bit of freedom, quote unquote, to realize or get the potential of your goal to make it to the NFL. Not saying that you should have wait to the NFL to do these things, but we gotta protect our young black boys, have them surrounded and have them emotional maturity to get them well equipped in the mind to say what is a rational decision that I'm about to make, what my intention is, what are the pros and cons of me doing something, what are the engagement and rules of the law. Like these are stuff that is not going away. You feel me? So if we are better equipped with these things, then we can have a better outcome. And you have to surround yourself, like I said, with the people who are seeing these things for you. And then, like I said, humble yourself to enough to know that, hey, if I want to go here, I gotta succumb to these rules and regulations or not. The results is, well, maybe that your life may be taken away from you shortly, unprovokedly or sadly. So so sorry to definitely hear, but man, we got to make better decisions.
100%. You said a word right there, cuz for sure. Um, it is so tough, bro. It's extremely tough to see because, like I mentioned earlier to David and David, Jared, and DJ.
Hmm.
It was just I covered Kyren this past season, being here in Louisiana, and every time I wrote about him, it was always something kind of around the game. It was Kyren Lacy uh penalized for doing a little celebration dance after first,
Yeah.
and they down by 14 points. It's Kyren Lacy argues with I'm about to say Brian Kelly on the sideline. I'm about to say Les
Uh-huh.
Miles. Brian Kelly on the sidelines. Uh Kyren Lacy doing the gun thing to an opponent on the ground.
Have
Like,
fun, right?
it was always stuff like that, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
yo, this dude is so talented, but he like
Yeah.
he like a head
But
case. Bro. Like
yeah.
they have a big win. He goes in the locker room. He go playing on Instagram Live, young boy. And he's talking, yeah, I shoot you up. Yeah, we smoking on the songs. Oh, Miss Pat. Like that's how he was, and it was just like
Yeah.
he's so talented, but it's like, bro,
Yeah.
like what's going on, bro? Like, but I feel like what I regret is like instead of saying, all right, how can we help? You know what I'm saying? Like, what resources can we give him,
Hmm.
someone to talk to, or whatever the case might be, as opposed to bad Kyren, how dare
Right.
you so
Yeah.
stupid, you so dumb, you a head case.
Right.
Same thing that we kind of like doing with on the NBA level, Ja and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
But to go back to your point, man, a lot of times in the NFL, a lot of people on social media, they're making a lot of jokes about Jaden Daniels and his mom, right? About
Yeah.
how his mom is everywhere. There was a video of him dancing at somebody's wedding, one of his former teammates' wedding and stuff like that over the weekend. And people are like, his mom there too? His mom ever? And you know what I'm saying? People make jokes about his mom and stuff,
Right.
but
Hey, she
you
realized what's going on.
you see what's going on with Anthony
Yeah.
Edwards right now. You see what's
Exactly.
going on with Zion Williamson in New Orleans.
Yes.
You see what's going on with Tyreek Hill
Yeah.
and his this is what number wife so and so, he got 8 kids, 11 women. Like, that's
Yeah.
a real thing in sports,
Real.
man, and
It is.
that could deter you, that could blemish your public image. Zion is a good kid.
Yeah.
Zion is a goofy kid, happy-go-lucky kid. I'm telling you, from covering him in high school at McDonald's All-American when they was in Atlanta to
Uh-huh.
covering him now in New Orleans and seeing him, he's still the same kid, a goofy kid.
Yeah.
But his image is taking a hit, a beating,
Yeah.
because of the woman he chooses to associate with. Not
Yeah.
even him.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's like, bro, if you
Yeah.
causing yourself, I don't want to speak because I don't know. Disclaimer. I do not know. But
Uh-huh.
if this is affecting your brand deals, your promotion, and everything like that, you're public because people like, I don't want to be affiliated with that.
Affiliated with,
He
yeah.
got too much drama going on with him. And it ain't even you.
Yeah.
It's the woman you choose to be with. So
Mm.
when Jaden Daniels' mom is beside him the entire time, I ain't never seen no baby mama drama. I ain't
That's
never seen no girl go on Instagram Live. I ain't
nope.
never seen no girl go on a Twitter thread exposing screenshots and text messages between her and Jaden Daniels. You ain't
Mm.
hear none of that from him. His
Yeah.
mama protect him. She ain't even let him laugh, sit next to Juju
So
and laugh at
Juju,
the game.
yeah. And they
That's
both
how
do.
serious his mom is about this stuff and his
Yeah.
public image. And
Yeah.
people can laugh at it and say she's doing too much, but
But
it's
man,
working.
it is. It
And like
is.
you say, when you have that type of when you're in a position like that, Jaden's mom identified it young.
Yeah.
He was like, "This is the way we're gonna go about it," and it might seem extreme, but it works.
It works,
So
yeah.
if that's the way that we need to get to, if that's the level we
We're
need to
gonna
get
have to.
for
We're
these
gonna have to,
yeah,
or we're gonna get more stories like this, and that's gonna be the norm. Unfortunately, we don't need it to be, or we don't want it to be, but it's gonna be more stories like that because no one's taking the precautionary steps to get in the gaps or get in the mind of these young great athletes to have them think before they go out and do something. You feel me? And you already you know my aunt Juliet, she wouldn't even play that stuff. So even if I was gonna become one of these athletes, she would have been a Jada McDaniel mom. So so it's stuff like that. That's where what I'm saying, you gotta have somebody headstrong and respect them enough to level you out and let you know that what I'm saying was to vet things out for you. You got to have a vetter. That's what Daniel's mom did. She vet people out, and because we're gullible, we're what I'm saying, we're young, they're young and stuff like that. They want to do things their way, which is great. You know what I'm saying? Do that. But now look at the results that's going to happen because of that. So now you don't want to take those steps back, or you don't want to lose these brand deals. You don't want to lose up your image and stuff like that. So, man, get off. We got to get off our high horse and really tap into people who have our best interest and let them be the vetter of our life. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. That should be the norm. Like, but in our culture, it's such like, oh, that's lame. Like it's such a detriment to us because that's what I'm saying. You're not your own man. But what? Listen, that's such a myth and stuff like that because
he not a man. Jaden Daniels is what 22, 23. Like
right,
it sounds like, oh yeah, you're a man, you pay bills,
right,
bro.
bro,
In the
man,
age of NIL, these
yeah,
kids is getting millions at 18,
eight,
17. Mikey Williams, if NIL was, existent, I don't know when it kicked in. I think it was probably like at the height of his fame and
right,
stuff like that. But, you know, that Joker would have been making $1 million a year at 16
yeah,
years old.
that's just yeah.
I mean, and you see what happened to him
Happened
where
with him, yeah,
he got in legal trouble, everything like now he has to rebuild his basketball career in college 2,
yeah,
3 years later. And now he's like, he's Bronny's age, he's Bronny's class. You see Bronny finished up his rookie season and people can say
yeah.
whatever they want about Bronny,
But
but
he's in the lead,
he finished his rookie season.
yeah.
Mikey is about to be a sophomore next season.
Wow,
That joker done been in college about 3, 4 years, but he missed 2 years because of
yeah,
legal troubles.
yeah. Him
And
and,
so,
and him and
go ahead.
another one, Dior Johnson.
The same thing,
Same way, same thing. Like, God, leave.
same class too,
Same
same
class,
class.
yep. Same
So
class.
so it's just like, man, like this stuff is real. Like you say, I said all that to go back to the original point of
Right,
like this entire ideology, like you said, is going with the I'm grown, I'm a
yeah,
grown man like
right,
mentality. And NIL, it makes it to where you start making money earlier. You already thinking like, I am a man. I'm paying
yeah,
bills. I pay taxes. I am a man. So this and that, like, can't nobody tell me nothing. So it's like Kyren Lacy had OGs. Kyren
yeah.
Lacy had his father. This
Mm,
statement right here is from his father, who checked in on him. I'll read it out for you. Hold on,
okay.
let me go to it. Young parents, start talking to your kids at a very early age and make sure they are confident and comfortable confiding in you. Don't be cool with I'm all right or I'm good when you know deep down something isn't right. Mental health is real, and for the most part, it's invisible. Don't ignore the signs, even if it might seem so small. Our lives have changed forever, and this will never be okay. but God needed my baby more than we needed him here. This has been the biggest pill our families have had to swallow, but I know the love and compassion in our families will get us through. This will never get easier, but we will learn from it. Check on your kids' mental.
Mm.
So he had a loving and caring father that checked in on him. He had OGs. His trainer shared a text message that he just sent Kyren on Thursday. Hey, bro, just checking in on you. How you doing? Kyren respond, I'm good. And then he put like, I think the prayer hand emoji. Let me see if I can find it. He
Okay.
put like the prayer hand emoji. That was Thursday.
Wow.
Hold on. Here it is right here. Let me see. Can you see it a little bit?
Let me see. Yeah, I see it a little bit. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I see it.
So yeah, he said, I'm good, fam, with the praying hand emoji. He said, what's good, little bro? Just checking in. How's everything going? He just said, I'm good, fam, with the prayer hand emoji. And the trainer responded, prayer hand emoji.
Mm,
This was Thursday.
man.
Saturday is when everything happened.
Yeah.
So it's like he had the people in his circle. He had the people in his ear and stuff like that. OGs. Hey, young blood, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I think what it's going to get to, like you said, the difference between that, because we've all had it growing up. You hear an old head say something, you hold on to it, but it kind of roll off the back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think the thing that's really discouraging for me, because everybody always says black men go back and be mentors and everything like that. And you're doing your part as a youth coach,
Mm-hmm.
and as a trainer and stuff like that. For me, every time I talk to young kids and stuff like that, especially in a group, in a class setting, it's difficult to really get through to them
Yeah.
because a lot of times if they don't identify with you, they not listening.
Yeah.
It's like, if I don't talk like you, if I don't look like you, you not really listening. And even then, if I did look like you and I did talk to you, just the fact that you older, I'm tapped out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? So it's difficult to get through to them and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So you have to take an extreme like Jaden Daniels' mama and just be beside you everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I salute Jaden Daniels' mom, bro,
Yeah.
throughout this. And it might have to be something that we all have to do because I know homies, we from Atlanta, so I have homies who are in Anthony Edwards' camp who are head straight guys, head
Mm-hmm.
on straight guys who are on the narrow path, guys who can lead a Bible study. You know what I'm saying? Join Bible study and small group calls with me and
Yeah.
are my age, older age and stuff like that to be like, hey, Ant, you might not want to move that way. You might not. But at the end of the day, Ant is his own man.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can you do, bruh? Like with the Quay Davis situation, Quay Davis definitely has some OGs in his head because
Mm-hmm.
coming into college, Quay Davis had the similar situation of an alleged domestic violence incident.
Okay.
So the situation that happened yesterday, 2 days ago, with his social media ex-girlfriend, where she posted the ring camera footage of them tussling, and things of that sort. This was 5 years later, after the fact he was already so people been talking to him until he blew in the face, but he still went and did what he did.
Yeah.
And it goes to, okay, if I can't get through you as an OG member, as a community member, what professional help can we get you?
Yeah.
Is therapy gonna work for you? Is journaling gonna work for you? What is it going to be to help get your head on straight? Because this Kyren Lacy situation, even though it's shocking, at the same time, it's like if you've just followed this young man and like in the short time that I've been following him since last season,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like it's all been kind of a bit chaotic. Like it's something a little off. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's a tragic ending. So I just want to know, like, bro, what can we do to help prevent this in the future, man? What do you have in mind?
Man, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna address that, but I do want to say I've read this thing and it says being coachable is more important than being talented, and that really hit me because like you can have all the talent and stuff like that, but if you ain't coachable, you not like you really not gonna go as far as you can or you should because that talent can only get you so far. But being coachable and what that looks like is like the yes sir and the eyes is locked in. You know what I'm saying? You're not making excuses and stuff like that. You are adhering to whatever is being said. You know what I'm saying? You taking it as if this is life. So you know what I'm saying? Whatever this coach or mentor or dad is saying to you, that's what you're taking a heed to, and you believe it with all your heart. And so I would say, I just want to say that, but to combat this thing that we're facing, because we're actually like losing in this situation, and we're losing our black men in the dirt and in jail. So you feel me? And in this child support. So these three factors is getting us. But I would say us, just and the men, we have to, and I say like I'm doing now. I'm Even though they're not, I have to steady in their head and go and try to teach as many as I can, and make some, not unfortunately, but these are going to have to be the examples that we're going to have to use in this case, because if not, then they're gonna step into those same steps. So we're just gonna have to grab them up, literally and physically and spiritually, like for real, and let them know, like, you know what I'm saying. There's a different type of road you can go down. Um, that's not meant for you. You feel me? And the powers that be, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, there are traps that are set in place for us to fail. Now there's a ways that we can, maneuver obstacles around that, but you have to be mindful of the obstacles that are in your place. You being here in America, like there's no way around it. You feel me? You listen. As much as you love this game and stuff like that, if you don't take it seriously, you're gonna I would just say this too. Um, being before Scared Straight became a TV show, like I experienced that before, and that changed like everything. Like it wasn't no TV and stuff like that. They actually took me down to the jail and say, "You want to live like this?" And I've not been on the straight and narrow path, but I knew I wasn't finna do nothing to go down there. You got me messed up. And so I don't know if we're gonna have to do some field trips for that, but listen,
he said,
bro.
bring back the Scared Straight, Beyonce Straight program.
Bro, something, bro, for real. It's bring that back. We're gonna have to. You know what I'm saying? Cause that, hey, it set me. I ain't been there. You feel me? Like I said, I ain't no saint, but they ain't finna do nothing to have me go there, man. Listen, nah, I don't get on that. So, it's gonna take really hard parenting from both the mom and dad. We got to bring back the both parents in the household. We got to get apart from the whole men versus women thing. I think that's a very detrimental to our unit as a people and as a family, man. Like we're getting lost. The powers that be is siphoning through our family and making this between a man and women, like we can't coexist with each other. At first, it starts there. It starts there. Once you know what I'm
The
saying?
diaspora arguments too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Fast. The Nashville, yeah. That plays a part in it as well, for sure.
It's the same thing. It's like you said with the gender war debates
Yeah,
of black men versus black women. At
yeah,
the same time, it's like Africans versus African Americans. It's like,
yeah.
all right, guys, like what are we doing here, y'all? Like,
What are we,
wait, do
man?
y'all see what's going on?
Guys, the bigger picture, bro. Like you got to see what's going on, and man, like and these guys, they have such influence on these, and Anthony Edwards, bro. You know, every kid, every tournament we go to, it's they got Anthony shoes on. Like that's the new wave of the shoes nowadays. Like him and James Harden, quote unquote. James Harden, but he ain't got no trouble. But Anthony Edwards definitely got impact on the youth, especially being in Atlanta. Like this man's like the holy Michael Vick. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh my god. So for him, it's like uh, I wish like somebody could like get to him and make him, you know, see or just adjust to what he's kind of impact that he does have. Like to say like this was not cool for me to do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they'll like respect that from him being the type of person he is. But man, it's like they don't see the kids don't see the type of effect that they just see the basketball highlight. They don't see the type of um I guess human that he is with being with the female is like. So I would say we have to bring back um scared straight a little bit, but then we have to bring back, you know what I'm saying, how are we treating men, how are we treating the women these days, like the classes or the steps into having a relationship, having a dialogue with women and stuff like that, and getting on one accord and stuff like those steps got to be in place and stuff like that in order for stuff like this not to happen. So we gotta take it back to just the good days where we're talking, where, you know what I'm saying, we're letting out our things, whether or not we agree with it or not. We have to have hard conversations. That's what it boils down to.
100%. Great points there. Great points there. I'm thinking about on the same line. Like I went to Dwight Howard camp a couple times when I was a teenager, and
Uh-huh.
salute to Dwight Howard because like one of those years it was at Langston Hughes. The first
Okay.
year it was at Tri Cities, and that year it was pretty much just like we get a speech, we play, then we eat, then we get a speech, we play, and we eat, and then we leave. Like, but the second year at Langston Hughes, I don't know if they like had surveys on how we can make it better, but we
Mm-hmm.
just had a real conversation. They put us in one of the classrooms at Langston Hughes, and Dwight just spoke to us like on some real man stuff. We 15, 16, 14 year olds, 17-year olds were in there. That's the oldest it went, 17.
Mm-hmm.
And they like your chances of making an NBA, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning. And they said, how many of y'all ranked in the state? How many of y'all ranked in the country? How many of y'all ranked in y'all city? And you know what I'm saying? Like no one really raising their hand.
Right.
So one dude was like, I'm ranked in football. He said, well, this is a basketball camp, son. You know, so like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like they just telling us, they like, all right, so y'all not gonna make it to the NBA. Like that's what they just told us in there. And they was just running it down though. And they
Mm-hmm.
was like making smart decisions. And there was an OG in there. He was like, think with the right head. Think
Oh,
with the like he was just telling us that. And then, you know, Dwight was next to him. He kind of sitting down. He like, yeah, that's why I got kids now. And Dwight's dad was like, say that again. And he said, that's why I got kids now. And at the time, Dwight only had like 4 or 5 kids. It was still like a normal amount. But you
yeah.
know, he grew up Christian. He grew up
Yeah.
going to the Christian school. So, you know, like never being married, that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And you know, Dwight didn't have any tattoos at the time too. He had a clean image. This was like
Wow.
Superman Dwight Howard. So
Wow. Right.
Orlando Magic
Damn.
Dwight Howard, like his public
Wow.
image was like crystal clear. Like
Crystal.
it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
darn near Tim Tebow. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Wow.
you know, he's just telling us like, you know, yeah, man, like you can't get caught up in this stuff. Like he said, like old head said, like you got to think with the right head.
Yeah.
And that taught, including, you know, like what you say, what Auntie Julie tells us growing
Yeah.
up and stuff like that. All
Mm-hmm.
these things is the reason why I moved the way I move now. The reason why I don't have any children right now, even,
Damn.
you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm not married, if I'm not established, everything, I knew how to move. Like
Yeah.
regardless of how much attention I was getting,
Yeah.
regardless of me, you know, moving up in my career and like women finding that attractive, whatever the case might be, I never lost my way.
Yeah.
And that was only because of the things that I heard from my dad, the things I heard from, you know, Auntie Julie, the things I heard from Miss Cheryl, the things I heard from Dwight and that little sit around and stuff like that. I was
Yeah.
like, think with the right head. You can't
Yeah.
let, you know, your lust or anything get you caught up because lust, it can kill a man's journey
Yeah.
just to keep it a bean.
Keep it real.
And yeah, it's just, I
And
don't know.
and
That
then with that said, like that's where I think it'll have to come down to. Like we have to go back to God for real, for real. Like that the spiritual essence or the spiritual being in you, it has to become like greater than your flesh. Like I know everything like with church or going to a pastor and stuff like that is kind of being mocked because of the whole like Marvin Sapp and everybody just want the money and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But it can, that's still in a division that can be cut because now it's causing people not to want to go to church. But church is still a foundation of not between you and the pastor, between you and God. Like don't get wrapped up in the man who's using the microphone to speak. He's just a vessel, or it should be a tool. You should still have a personal relationship with God, no matter what. And once we lose our separation from God, then we get trapped into these worldly things. One of my favorite scriptures is Romans 12:2. Be ye yet not conformed to this world, but be yet transformed by the renewing of the mind. You feel me? So it's we once we get the spiritual um revelations and the discipline and relationship with God, then God will give us these plans that say, okay, don't go here, don't speak to this girl here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I'm the best disciplined person ever, but I know I've heard something that say, oh, no, don't fool with her. You feel me? And I would have been like traveling. Then I see like years down the road, bro. I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't even speak with her, or she didn't give me. I didn't give her the time of day. She didn't give me the time of day because, man, what? Oh my! But that's because of like I said, a personal relationship with God. It ain't gotta be flamboyant. You ain't gotta have all the, you know what I'm saying, know the Bible from front to back. But that the relationship with God will keep you grounded. It's going to keep you humble, and it keep you on the right path. That's where I think that's where we have lost. We have lost relationship with God because due to man flaws. So not just anything else, but because of men and social media and stuff like that. We take the clips out and say, "Oh, don't go." And now people think like church is bad because they only want money and stuff like that. Well, no, you still the word is the word is the word. The principles is the principles. You can't knock that. And then once you get away from that, then you're gonna be trapped into this world thing where now you're gonna have to adhere to the rules of the court, which is definitely not in our favor, in the world of the justice system, which
Speak
definitely
on it.
not in our favor. So,
Oh,
man,
100%. I think the
yeah,
thing that I'm jumping on to go back to that, right? And to like
yeah,
kind of the original point of Kyren Lacy in this
yeah,
situation of, okay, like you said, the things that we need to keep our head on straight to, you know what I'm saying, kind of remain on the right path and everything like that.
uh-huh,
All right, say in Lacey's point, the accident has happened. It's
right,
already happened. There's nothing
yeah,
you can do about it. You got a hearing tomorrow. Okay. All right. That is the case. I done fallen off NFL draft boards. I didn't get invited to the combine. I'm 24 years old. What is life for me now? And like you said, through Christ
through
and
Christ.
through having looking at the spirit, the Holy Spirit and everything like that, you know in your mind, my identity, to go back to that what we were talking about earlier, my identity isn't in being a football player. My identity is through Christ. I'm
Yes,
24
yes,
years old. There's a reason why there's still air in my lungs. I'm
yeah,
still breathing for a reason.
yeah,
So, okay, this tragedy happened. This elderly man is no longer on earth because of my actions and
right,
my kind of recklessness, carelessness behind the wheel.
mm-hmm,
My NFL career is probably not going to happen. If it does happen, it's not going to happen the way that I thought it would happen.
yeah,
I still have a purpose on this life. I still
mm-hmm,
have a purpose on earth.
yeah,
Whether that's telling kids about my story of like, hey, kids, don't do what I did. You know, I had the NFL on my fingertips and it didn't happen.
mm-hmm,
You know, regardless of that, that's just what it is. So I guess, on that standpoint, if you're in Kyren Lacy's shoes and you have the accident that happened in December where the elderly man passed away and you get arrested and you now fall off a draft board, you probably not going to the league the way you thought you would.
yeah,
Uh, where do you go now instead of just my life is over?
yeah. Well, yeah. So then this is the part where this is manhood. This is all the, you know what I'm saying, we want to be rah 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 and stuff like that. And this is where you have to stand ten toes down and really own your mess. I'm gonna keep it clean, own your mess. And you know what I'm saying, be apologetic. You know what I'm saying? People knowing that if I'm kind of Kyron Lacy, knowing that my sympathy, my apologetically will um and my influence will have people on my side. You feel me? Like you have a voice, even if you don't say nothing. People will come to your bat. If I'm knowing I'm him, like I people will come to my bat if I know I made a mistake I play for an LSU team. I can use my coach as an advisor, or as a partner to say that, I'm working through this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stand 10 toes down and say, hey, judge, or to the family. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say that. Just gonna own up to what I've done. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do better and trust. That's the part of faith, is like trusting that God will see me through this. And you have it. We have examples as that. What happened with Michael Vick? You know what I'm saying? The dog thing. He went through what he did. He didn't go to another route. He owned up to it, and he said that he served his time, and he was blessed enough to even go back to the NFL. Like it could have been a way out, but once we like take it upon ourselves and we put it in our own hands, and then you give God no chance to work, and that's how God works, through those little miracles, or through those little phases of our own mess ups. So I would have to give it up to God, and then that would make me more submit to what God has in store for me. I'll put it like that.
Lacey's lawyer, he put out a statement upon the news of this tragic passing, and the message was essentially just like, the media, the way they portrayed him before the trial even started, they kind of set him up to be guilty and to proven innocent. And he said, as an attorney, I felt like we could have really worked to kind of downgrade a lot of these charges.
Yeah.
You talked about Michael Vick. Let's look at I believe it was Dante Stallworth,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah, I
one who
remember
had
that.
the manslaughter charge and stuff like that.
Yeah, Ray
He
Lewis. Yeah.
he was convicted. He
Hmm.
did his time. He went back to the league.
Yeah.
Kyren Lacy was 24 years old. In the
Yeah.
worst case, say you got good lawyers, you have a platform, everything like that. So they work your charges all the way down. So you serve, even if it's not just
If
probation,
it
even if
right,
you have to go behind bars,
right.
you serve
The
one,
max is 1
2 years,
year. 1 year. Yeah.
manslaughter, right?
Max. Yeah.
Manslaughter. You get it all the way down to manslaughter and a DUI.
Yeah.
Okay, this is your first DUI, so we're gonna get you on this. You got to go to rehab and counseling, and then reckless or defensive driving courses,
Right.
all that. You got to do that to get your license back,
Right.
and you got to do 1 year in jail for the manslaughter.
Right.
All right, you get out. You're 25 years old, and on top of that, you're not in the usual football player perspective situation and shoes where
Mm-hmm.
you kind of on the outside looking in, fighting to get a tryout, fighting to get on the team. One
Yeah.
of your best friends is the face of the NFL right now. One of your best friends is Jaden
Man.
Daniels.
Yeah.
He's gonna get you on a roster spot if
Yeah.
you
Right.
really want to get in on a roster spot and you were
Yeah.
working out and staying in shape while you were locked up.
Exactly. And
Life
LSU
was
is such
not over
an
for him.
alumni school where it's a ton of LSU other players in the NFL. You don't think they finna come to bat for you? Man, come on. Like now, I'm not saying like, I don't want to say it's like he took the easy way out, but he literally took God from working through his case. I would just say that, because God could have really worked through that, and could have that. And this is the part too. God could have took that mess and turned into a message. That's where a lot of things like having a testimony comes from, because you got to have a test, and that's what we don't want to have. That's where we're losing things, because we don't want to have a test. We don't want to have a mess, but going back to Christ, going back to God, that's where God comes in. He has to have something to work with. You feel me? So he can turn this test into a testimony. Only he can turn this message into a message. And throughout your faith building, you feel me? That would have been such a great testimony. It's such a great documentary to see. You know what I'm saying? His life turn from being this into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, he is he put a period where God was just putting a comma.
You said it right
Mm.
there. You
Ooh,
said it
that,
right
that,
there.
man,
He put a period where God put a comma. You
no,
said it
fair.
right there. I'm looking at every morning or most mornings, Monday through Friday. I'm watching on the TV, or if I'm in the office on a work laptop and on another tab. I'm watching It Is What It Is with Cam and Mace.
Yeah.
And first season, NFL, their NFL analyst is OJ Simpson.
Mhm.
Their college football analyst, who just does all the sports now, is Maurice Claret, because he's so good on the show.
Yeah.
These are two people. They like specifically get people who have been ostracized from the mainstream media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And but through going on the show, Maurice Claret, he said, "Man, my number of speaking engagement opportunities and everything done going up, and I'm making so much more money just because of the exposure I'm getting from being on the show. So I appreciate you, Cam and Mace, when nobody else would rock with me, clean version, will
Right.
rock with me and everything like that. Y'all gave me an opportunity to show myself. So I'm saying all this to say for Kyren Lacy, say the worst come to worst. You
Come
get
on, man.
5 years in prison.
Right.
You come
Right.
out 29, you could still be uh you can sell cars in Baton Rouge just off
Yeah.
being a LSU football legend. You
Mhm.
can be a speaker, like I said, of telling your story. I did 5 years in prison when I was 1 month away from going to the NFL. You
Yeah.
could do you could write a book.
Write a book. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah.
You could do so many things, bro. Like
Yeah.
it didn't have the story didn't have to go like
The
this.
story didn't have to end. That's a big fact, because man, it could have, you know what I'm saying? Like that's life. You know what I'm saying? Like yes, it's bad that it happened. Yes, you don't want it to happen. We don't want these circumstances to happen. Like, if I'm Kyron Lacy, no, I didn't. That wasn't my intention and stuff like that. But to be able, you would have got much more respect, much more sympathy by saying, "Okay, I did it. Let me face my accuser." That's what really the judge or the system is, to face your accuser or face your peers to say that, what you did or something like that was wrong or bad, and then let them judge you off of that. You feel me? Let them prosecute you. Let the states, do what they do with you. But being a man and stuff like that, these are the steps into manhood. And when we skip these steps, you know what I'm saying? It's unfortunately, you can't skip the steps into going to a manhood.
100%. One of my closest friends through childhood and everything like that, he was incarcerated last year, and
Mm,
I got his number. Or no. I gave permission from another friend who was communicating with him to give him my number to call me,
uh-huh.
behind bars and stuff. In the
Right.
first conversation, bro, I was just like, "Are you good? Are you
Mm,
this? Are you that?" And I told him, I was like, "You're not a bad person, bro. I know you. I spent my whole life with you. You just made a bad decision."
yeah.
And he said, "Bro, that might seem so simple that you said that, but it meant so much to me because he was ashamed to call me. He was
Mm,
ashamed to speak to me because he
wow.
didn't know, he thought I was gonna be disappointed in him or this or that." And it's like, bro, at the end of the day, what has been done has been done. We
Been
can't change
done.
that. And ain't no need for me to dwell on the past and why did you do this? But we talked about this and you still
Yeah.
went and did it again. Like
Right.
we get
Mm,
nothing out of that. So it's like, what can we do now moving forward? What Kyren Lacy was accused of doing, allegedly did, was
yeah.
tied to in the case that he had a hearing for tomorrow.
Mm,
That's been done.
been done. Yeah.
Okay, I'm still going. Where now? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's the biggest message with this, man. Brent, you know what I'm saying? What do you want to plug? Everything I got your YouTube pulled up right now. The next success. Hey, if you've been watching this for about the past 30 minutes to an hour, and you say he dropping some gems. If you want more of these gems in real time, man, he dropping on a consistent basis now. You see that about 4 or 5 uploads in the last couple of weeks, man.
Yeah.
Man, what do you want to plug, man, for the people, man? The next success, man. What do you want to plug?
Oh man, appreciate it. Yeah, I can be followed on YouTube at the Net Success and on IG as the Net Success. I'm doing more videos this upcoming week. Just got a whole bunch of ideas now, so they're gonna be coming in. And I have a new page for my coaching team. It's coached by Brent, COACHED by Brent, and stuff like that. And looking forward to doing more content and stuff like that, getting my voice out there and helping this like next generation and stuff, like helping this next new group of generation of men, and having the impact on my peers and on my fellow men and stuff like that, and just try to do my part, man. I think one of the biggest things I adhere to, or I like to live by, is one of Nipsey Hussle's quotes is, "The highest human act we can do is to inspire." So uh, that's what I live by, man. I'm just, not saying I'm the the greatest. I'm a very humble person, but I do look to inspire others, and I am inspired by others. And I'm just one of the uh, Bible verses I do like I said, is that the greatest among you be a servant. So I'm just a servant here, trying to pay my rent on earth by being a servant. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. We appreciate the time. We appreciate
Thank
the
you, thank
time,
you.
Grant. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, everything like that. If you were fed in any type of way in the past 30 minutes, past
Yeah.
hour and stuff like that from Brent, some of the game that he was giving, going to Bible verses. This was all off the top. We didn't
All
plan
off the
it.
top, man.
I literally just told him we just talking about Kyren Lacy and black athletes cuz joined the live, and he
Yeah.
joined shortly after Jared and DJ was on. So
Okay.
if you want some more of that wisdom, man, the next success on YouTube, make sure y'all
Thank you,
sub up
thank
right
you,
now,
thank
man.
you.
For
All
sure,
right,
for
man.
sure.
I'm gonna get back into these comments. I'm gonna still be here, but
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure.
all right.
Brent, is that it? That's it for you? Before we
Yeah.
sign off, everything like that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna still be here, but yeah, if I mean, I'm gonna still up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We still.
Okay, no, I heard it. All right. Well, I'm gonna take you off the stage. If
Okay,
you
for
want to
sure.
stay on, you can stay on, and we'll
I
talk
am.
after or whatever. But I'm about to
Okay,
sign off.
cool. All right, bet.
For sure. All right, Brent, we appreciate the time so much. And as always, man, this was a legendary stream. This was something that was bigger than celebrity gossip. This was something that was bigger than, whatever Trump is doing up in DC. This was something that really impacts the community directly. I appreciate all the homies that popped up and showed some love today. Man, David, Nathan, Caleb, Malik, Christian showed love and stuff like that. All the homies from Georgia State years and stuff like that showing love. This was really a community building type of night. And I hope I don't know, man. This is something I'm really proud of. Probably the live stream I'm most proud of that I've ever done on this channel. All the basketball stuff, all the music stuff that I do on here and stuff like that, all the celebrity guests we've had on. This was the one I take the most pride in because I feel like we made progress as a community, and to have these conversations and to host a forum to have meaningful beyond the surface level conversations. With that being said, as always, I'm Rashad Milligan. I hope you took something away from this. If you appreciated anything that came from this, or if you disagreed and you want to comment and call me a monkey or whatever, that's cool too. This is the road to 5K subs, though, at the end of the day. And I appreciate all the comments, positive or negative. Please take care of yourselves. I hope this fed you in any way, spiritually, physically, mentally, whatever the case might be. And until next time, please take care of yourself.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but.
Enjoy Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We can't ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.